Oh my God, I think I have my first uh I think I have my first membership person. Anyway, I think I have to verify that. Anyway, my name is Nomadic Kitty. Welcome to my channel. Hi, hello everybody. Um we are live. I do a K-pop live stream every week. What have BTS been up to this week, and what clues have they revealed, and what clues have I noticed in their live streams and the things that they have posted? So we're going to talk about that. What in the double H double hockey sticks is going on with YG and G Dragon? We will talk about that too, child. We're going to talk about HYBE and Minhee Jin, a little bit about that. We're going to talk about the ATEEZ concert that I went to, a little bit about that because I have a whole vlog, and also I just want to talk about my observations. Um, I'll talk about that. My channel is now monetized. I do have K-pop memberships, and I am taking suggestions as to what content that you guys would like to see or hear or want me to do. I do have a video planned, which later on we'll get into what I have planned about K-pop memberships, but I am working on a video that is going to be a probably 30 to 40-minute video, talking about, K-pop and solicitation in the K-pop world. And I'm not talking about K-pop idols offering themselves or selling themselves to people. I'm talking about the solicitation that goes on in the K-pop industry. If you don't know what solicitation is the oldest profession. I know I have a lot of non-English speaking people, but I'm talking about people paying for intimacy. So that's what I mean by solicitation, prostitution, whatever you want to call it. I am doing a massive research. It is a subject that I've been wanting to talk about a long time, but it's going to be at the membership level because it is a video that I cannot just put on my regular channel, that I'm actually going to have to put this like as a membership. My memberships are cheap, so if you want to become a member, you can just go to my channel, hit a membership button. I believe that's how it goes. And then they'll let you sign up. Let me go to someone's channel and let me see. I guess it depends whether you're looking at it on your mobile app or on your TV. I watch a lot of YouTube on my TV more than my mobile app. And so, yeah, they have it whenever you pull up someone's channel. You go to their channel, you view page, and then they'll have like, it'll say like join, I believe. And they have it to where you can join. Uh, like I said, looking at it on the TV is a little bit different than looking at it on your mobile app. Let me look at the mobile app. It'll have subscribe plus. So it has subscribe and subscribe. They used to have something called join. They don't do that no more. Now they have something called subscribe plus. And then once you click on it, it will say get access to membership perks from whatever, how much ever they have it per month. And it'll say join this channel, yada yada yada. So that's how the membership works, just in case you have not seen it. You have to go to my actual channel. I thank you, Deidre Mosley. I really appreciate it. And like again, I am taking all suggestions as to what you want to have as content. But the first thing, I do produce and make shorts, and I'm thinking about having some of those shorts show up, YouTube shorts that I actually create, and have them show up. And then also you'll get early access to my videos. I plan to have a lot of videos. Again, I went to ATEEZ concert. I will have an ATEEZ vlog. I will have a video about ATEEZ. I am working, 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 working. This is a very busy week. My kids are back in school, so this past week has been hectic. But hopefully by next week, I'll get back on a more regular type of schedule. But considering how busy my life is, I'm done pretty good. Because again, I have a career, I have kids. And plus, if you hear something in the background, that's actually my kids talking in the background. They're in the other room and they're cleaning and they're doing things and making lunches and stuff like that. So if you hear screeching and yelling and hollering and giggling, it's just my children. So welcome everybody. I'd like to say welcome again. I try to do my live streams either Saturday nights or Sunday nights. I did one on Saturday night last week and it was very popular. I had a lot of people on my live stream. Sunday, I don't know what's going to happen Sunday. And again, I try not to make it too long, but I did have my year anniversary last week. It was my year anniversary being BTS Army. So I had a 6 hour live stream. I will not be doing 6 hours tonight, y'all. No, no, no. So I'm going to try to talk about the subjects at hand. And then we're going to get into some K-pop gossip and tea spilling. We're gonna get into some K-pop gossip, y'all. We're gonna and like I said, I'm not gonna mention any names about the K-pop gossip, but we're gonna get into some. We're gonna get into 3 pieces of K-pop gossip, and again, as time goes on, the more members I have, I will do a whole stream where we can really talk, where I can really tell y'all what I really think, and so it won't offend people. Hello, Deidre Mosley, I appreciate it so much. Being a member, I was just telling everybody that if you want to be a member and you have any suggestions about what kind of content you want to see, I do have a huge video about K-pop and solicitation, K-pop and prostitution. I'm doing a huge research thing. So I'm going to do that as an exclusive for only members because I can't put that video out there. I can't put this video out there. I cannot put a video about K-pop and solicitation out there, but it's very fascinating. It's a topic that I kind of hint at and want to discuss, and not K-pop singers offering themselves to other people. I know there was a thing about Jennie and IU, and I did a live stream like a couple of months ago where there were some rumors about Jennie and IU like selling themselves. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about people partaking of a solicitation and where it comes from, the history of it, and stuff like that. So I plan to do much more detailed videos on my membership levels. And anything else anybody want to say? Hello, Aladdin. Anything anybody else wants to talk about? You want me to do a video about a research? I will be more than happy to do a video for my members of whatever they want to. And again, as I get more, I just started my memberships. I just became, oh, thank you, Marsha. Look, Marsha, you're a member too. I appreciate y'all so much. And once I have more members, I will do a members only chat where we'll really talk about some real stuff. And so, and just where it'll just be us members talking, where I can really get down and start telling y'all things that my real opinions about certain things. But I do plan to post a lot more content for my members, but I appreciate everybody supporting the channels. Thank you, Marsha. Marsha, I love you too. I really appreciate everybody. I thought I was going to get monetized and then put memberships up, and I was like, ain't nobody going to want to be a member to my channel. I was like, why would they? But I guess, I was like, okay. And like I said, I try to be consistent. Hey, JC. I try to be consistent with my content despite me working and having 2 kids and being a single mother. And I work a high profile job, a very busy job. And so this is a very busy summer. Hopefully things will go back to normal. So we're going to talk about, the first thing I'm going to talk about, of course, is what I always talk about every week, BTS updates. So make sure y'all thumbs up, like the video, subscribe to my channel, hit the subscribe button so y'all won't miss things. I do have an ATEEZ video coming out this week about like the overview of ATEEZ and stuff like that. I do have that coming out. So the first thing we're going to talk about BTS. So BTS, Bangtan Soyeon, they released, I don't follow them on social media. I'll say it again. I don't follow them I'm not on Instagram. I'm not on Twitter. The TikToks, I use TikToks to create my videos, but I am not on TikTok. I am on Weverse, but I use it to keep up with the members, and that's about it. And I use YouTube, and what my people that I subscribe to, they'll post things that they will see on Instagram or whatever. So first thing we're going to talk about is Jungkook and BTSV. Well, BTSV went on his social media, whichever one, and posted like a video of him at the gym, him and Jungkook, and they were kind of like flexing. You like Stray Kids? I have 2 videos about Stray Kids. I have a whole concert vlog, and I have a video about Stray Kids, just an introduction kind of video about Stray Kids. But I'm not a Stray Kids. I'm not a stay. I'm not a stay. But I did go to their concert and had a good time. And I respect Stray Kids and what they've done. They had the highest performing concert of this past 12 months, y'all. So just in case y'all didn't know. And we'll talk about that later, about like how much revenue they've earned and stuff like that. So we're going to talk about that too. So V posted a video of him and Jungkook. He posted a video of him and Jungkook at the gym. It's just little shorts, little, like Instagram reels or whatever, whatever, whatever. Um, and yes, they were on the beach, and so they did a Weverse live. Y'all. I am at the ATEEZ concert, and then I get an alert saying BTS is live. So I'm at the concert, and then I'm filming, and then it'll pop, like the notification says BTS is live, and I'm holding up trying to film this concert footage on my phone while this. So I'm trying to film concert footage and concentrate, but I'm like, man, BTS is live. I'm holding my phone. I'm like, so they have like a little, you go to a K-pop concert, they kind of have like, like a set change or whatever. I immediately try to like pull it up. For some reason, depending on the venue you go to, I couldn't get any service. So anytime I text message my kids or anytime I tried to do anything, I go to Weverse and it would say, you don't have enough service, network not found, network. So I'm literally sitting there at the ATEEZ concert while Jennifer is looking down at me, and she's like, what? She like, girl, what you doing? And I'm like, girl, I'm sorry. BTS is live right now. And she's looking at me like, like we are in the middle of an ATEEZ concert. And I'm sitting there just hitting the button, hitting the button, hitting the button. Hello. I'm sitting there hitting the button, trying to hit refresh. I'm restarting my phone. I literally have a bar. I have one bar of service. I'm hitting restart. I keep hitting restart, restart. I could not watch the video. So I literally tried over again to watch that video while I was at the ATEEZ concert. And she's like, we at a concert, girl, she's like, give it up. You're not going, we don't have any bars. So I gave up. And so I was like, okay, we'll wait till we'll get to the car or whatever and pull up the video or whatever. Because I was curious to see whether Sugar was going to be on the video. My ult was going to be on the video because it said BTS. And I was so excited, you know. And so I was like, I was so like then the end of the concert, AT's concert came, and then I was watching the video about BTS, and they were at the beach and everything like that. So I watched that beach video in the car. Then I came home from the concert because I got home at like 1:40 in the morning. That was a long concert. That was like a 3-hour concert. ATs don't play. When they bring it, they bring it. Um, so I got home, and then I really was able to pay attention and watch it. A Spicy Disaster says it was nice to see them joking around, acting goofy. Yeah, Yoongi was so cute too. He was so cute, and it was so good to see them. But again, when I'm watching it in the car, I couldn't really read the subtitles. And y'all know, if y'all on Weverse, those Weverse subtitles are horrible. They are horrific. Like I'm reading the subtitles, going, okay, that doesn't sound right. That doesn't sound. I'm like, they don't what? Because some of the stuff that they were, I don't understand why Weverse can't get a good translator. I don't understand how in the day of technology and AI, and I can literally download a translator app and translate better than Weverse. So Weverse, I need y'all to get it together because that translation was horrible. So I got home, watched the video, looked at the translation, and some of the stuff did not make any damn sense. And I'm like, did I read it wrong? And no, I didn't read it wrong. The translation just didn't make any sense. So I was like, I'll wait till somebody will translate it. I'll wait till HYBE or somebody translate it because, child, I mean, it was just nonsensical. I was just like, do I like Stray Kids? I got 2 videos on Stray Kids. The Weverse is very funky sometimes. You went yeah, I went to High Boy to get the real translation. So I had to wait till he posted a video early this morning to get the real translation, and so I can watch. So I watched it a few times, and I get a Kiki and call, and once again, like I tell my audience, and I tell you guys all the time, um, whenever you, sorry y'all, I'm sorry, I got disconnected. So I tell y'all, whenever I watch the videos and the Weverse and stuff like this, I y'all got disconnected. I apologize. But whenever I watch videos and stuff like this, y'all know that I watch it with all the sound on, and then I turn around and watch it. Are you ready for Straight? Yeah, I hear Stray Kids uh, has uh, has a new album coming out. I think later this month, August. I think that's what I heard. But I'm not a Stray Kids fan. I'm not. I went to their concert. I did a video about Stray Kids, but I'm not a stay. I'm not a big fan of like their music. They're talented, but it's just not my kind of thing. Yeah, they said, yeah, RM said, hi husband, hi wife. I said, Lord, please, RM, don't stoke the delusion, RM. I was like, oh, okay. But it was cute though. But back to BTS. I watched the video with no sound. So I tell everybody, whenever you guys get off this live stream, you have a chance. Go back and watch that reverse with the volume down. So I promised people I would come on here and I'd tell y'all some of my observations from watching this beach video by just turn the volume off and just watch it a few times. And you will see a lot. You will see people's mannerisms. Number one, the first thing I noticed is that I noticed Jin and Kim Tae-young in the background laughing. Kim Tae-young grabbing Jin, squeezing him. Jin was on the video talking about, hi, 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 hello. He said, hello, hello, over and over again. So that was funny. But if you turn the volume down, you will see him and Kim Tae-young back there like hugging each other and Kim Tae-young picking Jin up, and you will see that, and you will get a good laugh out of that. You will see them interacting with each other like brothers do. You know how a younger brother is messing with the older one, and you will see him grabbing Jin and putting his arm around him and lifting him up, and so just like siblings do. So I noticed that off the bat, it was cute, very cute and funny. You saw the sandals here when they panned the camera down, and you were seeing what brand it was. See, Spicy Disaster knows. Spicy Disaster's on it, child. I did notice that. And then it was kind of hard for me. I had to watch it a few times with no volume because they kept turning the camera around and back and around. Then it kept getting choppy and jumpy. But I noticed Kim Tae-young and Jin in the background just roughhousing and just being funny. It was very cute. Other thing I noticed, J-Hope. J-Hope, I don't know if J-Hope was a whole vibe or mood. I don't know what was going on with J-Hope. He looked tired. J-Hope is normally very like exuberant. Y'all know J-Hope. If you know BTS, y'all know. I ain't got to explain it to y'all. I kept looking at J-Hope. So I went and watched the video looking at J-Hope. And J-Hope just looked, yeah, people did went crazy. I noticed that J-Hope, he just didn't seem like himself. He seemed kind of reserved. I don't know if J-Hope was tired. He looked tired. I don't know if he's exhausted. I don't know if something's bothering him. I don't know what it is. I'm not going to speculate. But go back and watch the video and look at J-Hope. And you will see him in the background kind of like reserve and kind of like, when normally he's very, who is my bias? Suga's my alt. Suga's my ultimate bias in all of K-pop. All of music, actually. Suga's my favorite person in all of music. All of entertainment. He's my ultimate. But I noticed J-Hope. I just noticed him in the background was just a little bit... he has thrusting warrants. Like, y'all stop. No, I did not hear about Kiss Alive. What happened to Kiss Alive? Katrina said he got warrants. Do I like the Rose? Yes, I do like the Rose. But I'm not a huge fan, even though I went to their concert. I'm still not. I like to go to K-pop concerts. J-Hope, he need to be outlawed. J-Hope be out here doing your girl. J-Hope. Yeah, so J-Hope was real quiet and he looked kind of tired and kind of reserved. So I noticed that about J-Hope. Jungkook was Jungkook. Jungkook seemed like he was the one that wanted to be on camera. He was the one that wanted to probably turn on the camera and talk to armies. It was J-Hope's phone, and J-Hope seemed like he was the one that was kind of like, okay, everybody, we gonna talk to army. Do I have a bias record? I do. Oh my God. Like at first, Jungkook is kind of my bias wrecker. Jungkook kinda, but mostly RM. RM is like, to me, like husband material. Like RM to me is husband. Like to me, he's like the ultimate boyfriend, like good guy. Like, Prank HYBE when he's actually gives us. So yeah, I would say kind of RM, but then Jungkook just will do something or wear something and I'm just like, okay, go on ahead, Jungkook. But Jungkook is way too young I feel like, for me to be looking at. Like I feel guilty looking at Jungkook, even though I know he's a grown man and he's like 28. I still be like, they looking for Jay because he got paternity right in 9 months. A lot of people gonna be looking for J-Hope for child support because J-Hope gonna have paternity. You are not the father. You are the father. Because J Hope was just doing J Hope shocked me with his solo. It was very shocking. But I noticed that Jungkook looked like Jungkook. He looked like he was the one that wanted to get on camera. Kim Taeyong, okay, yeah, hold on, hold on. Okay, okay, here we go. Kim Taeyong, okay, because everybody else got sweaters on and jackets, and because and during the daytime in California, if you don't know, you've never been to Cali. During the daytime, it's like a dry heat, and then I heard at night it's chilly. So Kim Taeyong, hold on, y'all, give me, hold on, y'all. Kim Taeyong, it's Kim Taeyong is the official king of the tank top crew. Cause Kim Taeyong, he he out there like, yeah, eh, yeah, he picking Jen up. I was like, I'm Kim Taeyong. I know you a little. Eventually, he put on like this hoodie thing, but he was out here like it's the gun show all the time. It's the gun show. Kim Taeyong's the gun show all the time. Kim Taeyong will let you know it's the gun show. What time is it, Kim Taeyong? What time is it? It's the gun show time. Because Kim Taeyong will be out there. He wears a tank top, I think, all day, every day. I think this man sleeps in the tank top, wakes up in the tank top, eats in the tank top. I think it's just tank top, tank top for this man. And he either not gonna have no shirt on underneath, he gonna have a tank. I don't know. Okay. So Kim Taeyong just all up in there. Kim Taeyong being Kim Taeyong. So I was like, okay. Then it comes to my favorites, RM and Sugar. If you watch the video, you will notice that RM and Sugar are always together. Yeah, Sugar kind of hung back, and I'm not surprised. Right, right, Katina. I'm not surprised. Um, and I do understand and I respect Sugar for that. But if you watch the video, you will see RM and Sugar next to each other all the time. And that's the thing I noticed that RM was either behind Sugar or next to him always. And then also when BTS did their first video, if you notice their first video, RM was sitting behind Sugar. And so I again personality and body wise, to me, I feel like RM is probably the closest with Sugar, and they, of course, they're doing an album, and they probably work together more a lot. But I could see RM kind of being protective of Yoongi, that he kind of walks next to him, they fall back a little bit, and they were talking. That it seems like he's very protective of RM, very protective of him. Like and it's just like it's all in the body language. And usually when you're in a group of people and you fall back with a certain person, that's the person you usually are talking to that day. That's the person you're usually very close with. And I noticed that almost every time they're on camera, it's Sugar and RM walking next to each other. So I feel like them two are probably the closest right now. I'm not saying of all time but maybe just that particular day. But it was just very interesting to see them fall back, and RM, the looks that RM gives Sugar, you can see the looks that he kind of cuts his eyes over, like kind of a look of you good, bro, like you okay. And I've noticed that even in anytime Sugar has been in these videos, you see Sugar and RM sitting next to each other. You see them really, you know, it is support. What's my favorite BTS song? Oh my God. Save Me, Love Maze, Home, um, Black Swan, Blood, Sweat, and Tears. Those are my favorite ones. But you always see them sitting next to each other. Have I ever been to a BTS concert? No. I went to Jin this year. That's my first like BTS member concert when I went to Jin a couple of weeks ago. And I did a vlog about it on my channel about Jin. Going to the Jin concert. It was great. And I did shorts and I did video. Home is the best. I love Home. I love Home. But I think right now, my favorite song changes depending on my mood. Right now, Love Maze is my favorite song again. Like Love Maze is a B-side BTS song that a lot of people are like, what? But it's a phenomenal. And House of Cards is my other one. How was his concert? It was awesome. I didn't know Jin could sing that well live. I slept on Jin. I admit it. I slept on Jin. I did not know Jin could sing that well live. Like his singing is very underrated. After seeing him live and hearing him sing live, very underrated. Jin is very underrated. And I didn't think about that before I went to the concert. But when I went to the concert, I said, some people sleeping on Jin. Like Jin has a good voice. Um, They sleep on. How do I know New Jeans? I talk about New Jeans frequently over the past. If it wasn't for New Jeans and Minhee Jin, I wouldn't be BTS Army. I did a whole video about how I became Army, and if it wasn't for all that, I wouldn't be here. Um, they both went through hard times for different reasons. They're each other's support system. It is very good. It's very good. It's very good. A lot of people slept on Jin. To hear him sing live, the videos and everything that I took doesn't give him justice. It does not give Jin justice. I have heard some K-pop singers. I've been to 11 K-pop concerts and I've heard various degrees of live and backtracking and lip syncing. And I've heard various people sing solos and stuff like that. But for him to get up and do a whole solo set and joke with the audience, and I think hopefully this will push Jin to have more confidence in his abilities. Because I think from what I know about Jin and things that I've heard, I think that Jin maybe didn't really have a lot of confidence in his abilities because he didn't start out as a singer. But he's been in the business for a long time, and I think that people sleep on Jin's abilities, and I think that like Jin, like I listened to Happy, and Happy was Jin's music is not my type of music. Happy was okay, but I like this album a lot better than his first album that he came out with, and I was glad that he went on tour and proved to everybody that he can go on tour, because going on tour is nothing to sneeze at. Is tough, especially by yourself going on tour where you're calling the shots and doing everything. Like if you don't watch Korean media, like J-Hope did a bunch of interviews and things about with his management team and the behind the scenes of his tour, and J-Hope did a lot of behind the scenes things, and you see how professional J-Hope and how much of a professional J-Hope is and how strict he is and how he oversees everything, and everybody does it different. Not everybody is as hands-on as an artist in their touring, but J-Hope was very hands-on and very professional. And unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to see Jay, because J-Hope's music is much more my music. But J-Hope came to San Antonio, and I live in Dallas, so I went to Jen. How long have I been Army? I had my year anniversary last weekend. It's only been it's been a year. Yeah, people do sleep on Jen. Jen, aka Julian, that's something else. He took off the jacket and Julian came out. That's the first time I've ever heard that. But Jen concert was good. But yes, the beach video, I thought it was very enduring. Also, another thing I noticed about Sugar, when the video first come on, go back and watch it, you see Sugar instinctually do this and tug at his hair. Do this and tug at his hair. Because he was looking at himself in the camera. And that kind of made me sad. Like it kind of got me in my feels a little bit to see Sugar. He does this, and he's looking at his hair and he's looking at himself in the camera, and that's the first thing I noticed. So one of the first things I noticed, that he seemed very uneasy a bit. And then last but definitely not least, Jimin. I don't know what was going on with Jimin. I don't know. I'm gonna throw my hands up and let y'all speculate. I have no speculation on that. But Jimin in that whole video, after watching it, I watched this videos 5 or 6 times just to watch each member. And Jimin just didn't seem like Jimin to me. Jimin looked really cute. He had a towel around him, and he had like he was swimming. And Jimin just was real quiet and kind of was like in the background. And him and J-Hope was just real oddly quiet to me. But yeah, Jimin seemed just quiet, just real quiet, like real quiet. So I don't know if Jimin, it's a whole mood. I don't know. He's entitled to be quiet, but Jimin just kind of fell back in the background too, like he was kind of in the background. But Sugar, my dude, let me tell you, Sugar had his black beanie on, his black sweat thing on, his black shorts and black shoes, baby. Sugar's predictable at best. My ult is predictable all the way 360. My ult is like, I'm gonna be me all day. Sugar looked like he was ready to throw a mixtape down on that damn beach. He was like, he was ready to give him the mic. Sugar like he was ready. He was like, I was like, I don't know if he's finna do a battle rap or he's on the beach. I don't know which one Sugar was doing. But I was kicking and I cock on. Cause I said Sugar looked like he finna go to the ultimate rap battle. He looked like he was finna do 8 Mile. He was out here looking like Eminem, like he was just straight up like Like I was giggling so hard because I'm like, why is he wearing that at the beach? You know what? Just whatever, Sugar. Just whatever. He just like he's like Sugar said, I'm not new to this. I'm true to this, yo. He true to this all day. He Sugar dressed the same all day. He's like, I'm worth millions of dollars. But guess what? I'm gonna be at the beach and I'm gonna be wearing all black. And I got a beanie on, wearing all black. You heard? Sugar was like, you heard? I'm sorry, y'all. I had to sit there. I was giggling so hard. My stomach was hurting. I was like, Sugar, really? He was like, you heard? Like, I'm out here at the beach looking like I'm finna drop a mixtape on the beach. So those are my observations from the video. Also, if you go back and watch the video in slow-mo and you look at the crew, like y'all know I be watching. So you go back and look as they pan in between it, you see they got a full crew on their beach. Why they got a full crew on that beach? Somebody took pictures of the video and ever slowed it down. Like, because armies, y'all be on it. And they said it looked like there was a full camera crew on the beach. So that got people speculating now. Like, are they filming uh episodes of like what like it was In the Soup or Run BTS or something. Because again, for them to be on that beach, I'm on the beach looking in the background and I'm like, it seems like, to me, in my opinion, I may be wrong, but from what I looked at the staff and everything that's on the beach, it seems as if they, I wouldn't say rented the beach, but probably told, just like they do in movies. You know how they do in movies, how they go on location and then they coordinate off a certain area. That's what it looked like, because it didn't look like there were regular people on that beach. If you go back and watch the video, and when they pan the camera back and forth and stop, and it's hard to, but if you slow it down, it doesn't look like, I was trying to see if there's regular, it didn't look like any regular people on that beach. It looked like staff and camera crews were on that beach. So I don't know what they're filming, but that's just my observation, and some other people observed that as well, that it didn't look like they were just on the beach with regular people. I didn't see no regular people on that beach. I just didn't. Everybody I saw was crew. Everybody I looked at the beach, they looked like it was camera crews, and it looked like staff. Staff was on that beach. Even when they panned all the way around, like far down the beach, like way down the beach, it looked like staff. So, and then somebody said that they caught a picture of them having like a boom mic, like one of the long stick things that, that have like a little furry thing on the end, a boom mic. Some people were saying online that they caught, and I've seen pictures, people posted pictures of that they freeze framed. It looks like somebody in one picture had like a boom mic. So I, you can take that with a grain of salt. But it looked like they were filming, because again, I was noticing, I was like, well, that's weird. Like, why would they go on a Weverse Live on a beach? Because I'm like, the moment they go on the beach, armies are gonna be like, hi, they on the beach. Run, army, run. The moment they go live, I'm like, if they on the beach with regular people, somebody's gonna notice them and be like, I'm coming, Jimin. The Jimin fans, y'all. I don't mean to do y'all like that, but I did notice again, for myself, I did notice that Jimin was not there. Oh, my messages are messing up. Okay. Jimin wasn't checking himself this time. Okay, hello Rita LaBelle. Hello Kentanya. Bias Wrecker, I would say RM. Dania Alazawi. I love that name. I swear, I feel like the members who were shy before are on camera more. The people who were energetic before are less on camera. Yeah. That they have become mature. And yeah, they're all making album. Yeah, they could be making album content. I totally agree. Like, they could be filming parts of a music video, or they could be making promotional content. Again, I said it before in my other live streams. Whenever it was announced that they were going to go to LA, I said, when they go to LA, y'all, they're going to be going back and forth to Korea. I said that. And I said also, when they go to LA, they're going to be doing a lot of different things. So they're going to be filming, parts of music videos. They're going to be rehearsing. They're going to be meeting with executives at HYBE America. They're going to be working on the album, of course. They're going to be working on their own solo albums. I keep telling y'all, I keep hearing that JK is working on a solo album, and I think when I went back and read the live stream, the transcripts, it sounded like to me, or not sounded, but what I read to me was that they were JK was reading the comments, and the fans were asking JK where has he been because he hasn't been doing a Weverse lately. And I swear to God, when I read the translation, JK said, I've been working on my album, not working on our album or working on the album or working on BTS album. I read it. It said in the translation, I've been working on my album. So I don't know if that's a mistranslation or did he slip up and accidentally said that. But I've been hearing about JK coming out working on an album for quite a while now. So I like again, if you go back and read the Weverse translation and see and read what Jungkook is saying. And he said, I swear to God, it translated because I looked at it this morning. It said, I've been working on my album. So, you know, people are like, oh, it's a mistranslation. And I'm like, well, it's an easy fix. I mean, you can find out. It's different between our or my. It's two different words in Korea. Um, didn't they talk about a spoiler and the video got messed up? They did. They were talking about it online saying that JK was saying too much. They was trying to shush them. They were saying that JK was saying too much, but the video like glitched and you know because they ran out of service. And so people were saying that like Jungkook or one of them or a few of them maybe were all like saying things that they shouldn't have been saying. That people are like, there's spoilers in this video. That yeah, when the camera got messed up, people were saying that they were saying that they were spoilers. But again, like I said, I seen the stills, and there is a boom mic in that picture. So I think that they're out either filming something or filming promotions, which they would be because this is the time that they're in it. But they talked about in the video also saying that they were very, very busy. That they were, I think one of them said that they were barely sleeping. They had one day off and they were barely sleeping. Which makes sense because they're supposed to be coming out with an album and touring in the spring of next year. But again, before that, y'all know BTS stay busy. So again, I said they're gonna drop some solos, possibly a tour. I wouldn't be surprised if JK comes out with an album and then goes on a solo tour. I wouldn't be surprised. There's a long time between now and March, April of next year. That's quite a ways away. So they have like what? Let's see, August, September, October, November. So that's like 7 months away, or like 7, 8 months away. That's a long time for them to drop an album and do some other stuff. So it wasn't Nam June this time. Yeah, Nam June. J Hope. I just talked about J Hope not looking like himself. He didn't look like himself. He was very quiet. The look on J Hope's face was very like not his normal facial expressions. Same thing with Jimin. I noticed that Jimin looked kind of reserved and then with Sugar, I understand. But like I said, I thought it was very sweet to me that in the beginning that Sugar saw him. You expect a new Calvin Klein ad, so do I. There's been hints has been dropped that JK has kind of dropped. He wore a Calvin Klein hat. He was at a Calvin Klein store. I think there's going to be yes, new Calvin Klein ads and promotions and stuff like that. Just like the same stuff that V has done. You know, V got the Coke thing and he was on the cover of magazines and RM has been on the cover, I think, of W or whatever. Yeah, Jimmy was very quiet. Hello, Aurora Kim, very quiet. So I don't know what's going on with Jim. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know if they're just exhausted, tired, in their feelings. I don't know. But like I said, I noticed that my Sugar was like the moment the camera came on, he said, and he looked and he was trying to do with his hair like it was like I said, it was cute, but then it was kind of like you could tell that he was kind of like self-conscious. Um, Kentaya Price. What made BTS jump out on the radar? Let me paraphrase. In 2020, I've never liked K-pop at all. I have a sister-in-law who has liked K-pop since 2016. She liked BTS. She likes other groups. She's not Army, but she is the cast. She kept up with BTS a lot and other groups as well. In 2022, my sister-in-law asked me to go to a TXT concert. I'd never been to a K-pop concert, not into K-pop, didn't listen to K-pop. Of course, I knew who BTS was because of Butter and Dynamite, and they were everywhere. So, and I've seen BTS on award shows and stuff like that. So I knew who BTS was, and I knew who Blackpink were, and, you know, a few like groups high profile. But I was not. I was like, who listens to this kind of music? I used to tell my, used to make fun of my sister-in-law all the time because she would buy concert tickets online, and you know, she would watch concerts online. Like the BTS did a, I think, a YouTube concert during the pandemic, and she paid like I don't even know how much money and stayed at 3 o'clock in the morning. I said, "Girl, you crazy?" I said, "Ain't nobody." I said, "Girl, this is K-pop, stupid music." So I was, so she's like, "Can you please go to?" She's like, "Okay, TXT is coming, San Antonio. Can you please go to this concert with me?" And I was like, "Only if you pay for it." Like, I'm not going, I'm not giving you money. And I said, "Okay, girl, if you drive to San Antonio and you pay for this ticket and you pay for drinks, I will go." I went to TXT not knowing what to expect, sat there with 10,000 screaming females, and was like, what in the world did I get myself into? And then I didn't, like I said, not familiar with TXT. She's like, they BTS little brothers. I didn't know what that meant. I was like, the BTS got brothers in the business. She's like, no, no, no. They in the same agency. I said, oh, okay. So I sat there, and then they put a music video up, and it was like TXT used to have this concept where there were princes. TXT got a lore just like BTS do. So TXT got a lot of lore. I watched the music video came up and they're dressed like princes and they were in the darkness, and I was like, oh, okay, okay. Look, if you put listen, I like fantasy and sci-fi. So I was watching this, so they put the MV up and I'm sitting there, I'm like, okay, this is kind of interesting. And then TXT, the music hit, and TXT came out with dressed like princes, they had costumes. I said, what? And then they hit the music. And I was like, what is, I said, I know what this is. I said, I know what this is. I said, I'm a theater kid. I said, this is like theater, but with better music. So they came out, they danced and everything, and I was riveted. I went home. I watched the whole concert like this. I couldn't believe what I was watching. The whole by the time I ended the concert, my sister in law was like, so she thought I was gonna be like, I am never going to this game. I said, girl, I said I absolutely loved it. I was like, girl, I said I love this music, and I downloaded a bunch of TXT music, and TXT was my gateway into K-pop. And so once I started liking TXT, then I started listening to other groups. And then me and my sister-in-law, since 2022, we go to K-pop concerts throughout the year. And so my sister-in-law is my K-pop pusher. If it wasn't for her, I would never listen. But I started studying the history of K-pop and stuff like that. Then the Minhee Jin, New Jeans, HYBE thing hit. And I didn't know what was going on. All I know is that people was talking about HYBE did this and Minhee Jin and then the shaman. And I was like, this sounds like a crazy. Then people were talking about BTS were in a cult. Remember them rumors last year? Then they was talking about BTS was cooking the numbers. Their album sales and the numbers is fake. And I was asking my sister-in-law, and I was like, are the numbers fake? She's like, girl, stop listening to that craziness. And I was like, are BTS in a cult? She's like, who is saying that? I was like, I don't know. There's some YouTubers saying that BTS is in a cult, and they're accusing Sajegi, and they were cooking the numbers. And she's like, no, girl. So I was like, you know what? I don't know much about BTS, but I said, you know what? I'm going to go on a journey. I said, okay, okay. So I'm gonna discover because I didn't know nothing about HYBE and none of that. So I was like, I'm gonna go on my own personal journey because I want to know, what is this all about? What is this thing with HYBE and Minhee Jin and New Jin? What is this all about? Because I love a good corporate drama. So it sounds like a K drama, and I like K dramas. So I went on my own discovery about BTS and HYBE and everything like that, and discover I didn't know who Bang PD was, none of that. So this is last year. This is March of last year. So I then I talked about Army, and I heard Army's crazy. Don't F with BTS Army. They're all nuts. And I was like, oh my God, I'm scared. So I said, you know what? I'm going to research Army myself. So I researched Army, and then last year I did a video about BTS Army, and it was just a simple video. And the video blew up, and people were arguing in my comment section. And I had just started my YouTube channel, and I was like, my channel wasn't even K-pop. My channel was travel and information. And I was doing stuff about South Korea and North Korea. And I wasn't even talking about BTS. And then all these armies came to my channel, and they loved my video, and they supported my video because they were like, I was very even-handed and fair. And there's not a lot of videos out there about BTS Army as a fandom. So then I kept telling people in my comment section, yeah, I don't really know a lot about BTS. And they were like, go watch, what is it? The Rise of Bangtan. If you have not seen this 30, what, not 30 part, this 30-minute, 21 part, there's 21 parts about the rise of Bangtan. And somebody kept telling me, you know what? If you want to start with BTS, you want to do a deep dive. I said, I do. I watched documentaries about the history of BTS, and I watched about the individual members, and I knew who Sugar was, and I liked Sugar. And then Jungkook standing next to you, I knew about that. Someone said the rise of Bangtan. So I said, okay, there's 37 parts. I'm going to watch the rise of Bangtan. So I put off one Sunday. I watched all 37 videos. I sat there all day and I was hooked. What made me like BTS was, it wasn't their music. I fell head over heels in love with their story. I had no idea that they came from a little company. I had no idea they were dogged out. I'm sitting there watching these videos, talking to these videos, and I need to go back and rewatch it. I'm watching these videos, yelling at the video. I'm yelling at stuff that happened in 2013, 2015, y'all. I'm angry. I'm going through the ups and the downs of their careers, and I'm going through the highs and the lows like everybody else. By the time I watched that series, I said, I'm Army. I said, oh no, no, no. I said, oh no, this you tell me a good story, I'm hooked. So I went back and started listening to the music, and I started to love the music. That's how I became BTS Army. And then, oh, you like Cordis? I like Cordis, you know. And so again, BTS The Rise of Bangtan is one of Minhee Jin, The Rise of Bangtan, my sister-in-law Jennifer, Sugar, and Usher. I have those five things to thank for me becoming BTS Army, but especially The Rise of Bangtan. If I didn't watch that story, I would have dismissed. I didn't know BTS made their own music. I didn't know none of this. I didn't know Jungkook was like 14 years old. I watched a 14-year-old, 14, 15-year-old Jungkook in these videos. I have a son, and it became very endearing. It stirred, The Rise of Bangtan is so well produced and well done that it stirred, made me more curious about BTS and made me respect them, because I thought they were just some, agency made fake K-pop group. I didn't know. I knew Sugar was a rapper, right? I knew about Sugar because I knew about Sugar since the pandemic, but I didn't know about the other members. I didn't know their struggles. I didn't know their history. I didn't know any of these things. But The Rise of Bangtan is probably one of the biggest reasons why I became Army. I fell in love with BTS, their story. I did not fall in love with their music. I was like, this is a good story. I like a rags to riches story. It touches me. It hits different for me on a personal level. Like, because like that's like the story of my life. I came from nothing. I came from absolutely possibly nothing. I came from nothing. So to see other people come from obscurity or nothing and then fight so hard in the music industry, yeah, I was like, okay, I'm hooked. And then I went on a journey learning Korean, and then I went on a journey of knowing Koreans, and so all that. Hello, 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 hello. Once you gym in, you can't gym out. But Sugar's my bias. Sugar's will always be my bias. His attitude is much more my appeal. It appeals more to my son. Me and Sugar, we like here. We here. But that's how I became BTS Army in a nutshell. Like I said, it's a lot more to it, but that's I fell in love with the story. It wasn't a music thing for me. And the music came later. I appreciate, and then like I said, with BTS, I only heard Dynamite, Permission to Dance, and Butter. Those are the only songs that I really heard. I think I've heard Save Me maybe once, but those are the only songs I really heard. Like but then I went back and I'm like, I'm gonna go back, and I still have not heard every BTS song. Like like it took me the longest time before. I don't think I've seen all of BTS's video, to be honest with y'all. But I keep telling y'all I'm gonna go back to the beginning and listen to all their music from the beginning. But like people bring up songs and I'm like, what's that? Because I don't really know. And then sometimes I'll hear a song, somebody will play a song on a video, and I'm like, what song is that? And then they're like, oh, it's a BTS song. And then I go look it up. But I still have not heard all of BTS's music. I think I've seen all of their music videos, but then somebody told me about Run BTS, and I started watching Run BTS because I didn't know about that either. They're like, go watch In the Soup. I was like, what is that? Run BTS. I'm like, what is that? So if it wasn't for people recommending things to me, so I started watching all of these things because I did a whole crash course in like 4 or 5 months of BTS. So and then then to amend this, I was like, okay, I'm Army. So everything I started reading about BTS in March, right? I started watching old videos. I'm by the time July came, I'm Army. I am so excited. I was like, okay, they're in the military, and Sugar's my bias, and I was all excited. I was like, BTS gonna get out of the military, and everything's gonna be all good, and then here I am, baby Army, not knowing what's going on, and then the Sugar Scooter thing happened. So I'm a very bitter person about that because it was like trial by fire. So here I am excited. Here, everybody, I'm baby Army. Then the Sugar thing happened. I just became Army. The Sugar thing happened August 6th, 2024. I remember like it was yesterday. And my sister-in-law called me and she's like, oh, your bias is in trouble. I said, for what? And then we read about the scooter thing and I kind of gave it a laugh. And I was like, this is going to blow over in a week or two. And it did not blow over in a week or two. And then people were coming to my channel, harassing me on my channel. And I'm like, I wasn't a K-pop channel then. And because I was defending Sugar, and I said, "Oh, this is ridiculous," and people were coming to my channel and other fandoms, and I was like, I was sitting there on live streams going, "Y'all, what is going on?" And then BTS Army's like, "See, we told you." And people were coming for me, and I'm just like, I don't know anything. I'm just little baby Army. I was like, I don't know anything. I don't even have a damn light stick or no merchandise. I'm like, I just got into this 4 months, like 3, 4 months, I just get into this. And all of a sudden, people were saying horrific things about BTS and horrific things about Sugar. And y'all remember the Sugar challenge, and y'all remember the funeral wreaths, and y'all remember all of that. I had to go through that as baby Army. I had to go through all that and be like, okay. And then to get kicked in the teeth knowing that I'm excited to see my bias, and then boom, these MFers drove my bias underground. So here everybody was like Jimin, RM, Jungkook, Kim Tae-young, J-Hope and Jin get out the military. I was all excited. And then all the other members are posting things on Weverse. I found out somebody told me about Weverse and I signed up for Weverse. All the other members are posting things while they're in the military here and there. I have not had a chance to enjoy my bias at all. And I'm a bitter bitch because of it. I am bitter. So they drove my bias underground. And I get it and I understand, but I'm very bitter about the Korean media for doing this to Suga. And so I have not had a chance to enjoy like these y'all Jungkook come on and do Weverses and Jimin and Kim Tae-young and RM and Jin and J-Hope. All of y'all are enjoying. Y'all enjoy. And I enjoy them as well. But to not see to be a new fan and not be able to having to go back in the past and enjoy my bias is a kick in the teeth for me. That I'm just like everybody else is like, oh, they're posting things, and here I am just sitting there like, all right, well, that's great. And I'm happy for everybody that y'all get to see and all the OT7 people. But I just feel like this is supposed to be, our time. Like a Sugar stand, this is supposed to be our time. A Sugar's back. Okay, let's go. And then, nah, guess what? Your bias is gonna be hidden and is gonna be shot to the ether. Good luck, that we're gonna hear from everybody else but yours. No, not yours. Just go sit down. Go sit down. Like you waiting for your bias. I'm like, I'm waiting for my bias. Come on. Oh no. And then his birthday came and went in March, and we didn't hear anything from him. And I was like, oh, this is. And I came on my live stream and I said, this is a bad side, y'all. I said, this is not going to go the way we think it's going to go. And when he didn't show up for his birthday, I knew that this was not going to go the way everybody thought it was going to go. And still, even though Sugar's in videos and stuff like that, I just feel like all these Weverses and all these V lives of Sugar in the past is in the past. And those things that I have to watch because I don't know what it's like to watch a live stream with my bias. I don't know what it's like. I don't know what it feels like to see interviews with my bias, doing interviews, and everything I have is just in the past. It's not in the present, or I feel like in the near future. And I get it and I understand, but I just feel like when it comes to my bias, I feel like a lot of times I'm living in the past. Like, oh, this is cute. No, Sugar did this and he was on this and did. But then, like, I feel like, okay, we're going forward. Like, what is? Yes, there's a great injustice. Yeah, Sugar was never been the type to be on online, and I understand it. Yes, you're right. It will take time for him because Sugar's never been the type to be out there. But I just think that it's a shame that again, I missed the whole D-Day thing. Like I miss all of that. Like y'all got to see Higgum and D-Day and Valentino and Marie Claire. I'm watching it in the future. I'm watching it in the past. And so the sugar glow up that everybody talk about, y'all got to see all of that and witness all of that, experience all of that. And then of course they're doing magazine covers. Like I said, RM and V are doing magazine covers, and I'm sure the other, and then J Hope has been out doing this thing, and then Jen, of course, been promoting and been everything. But I don't know if we're ever going to see that from Sugar. Like I honestly, I don't hold out any hope that we're gonna see that level publicity, like even like promotion wise. Like I don't expect Sugar to come out here and do Weverses and stuff like the Sugar unboxings. Like we talk about the unboxings a lot on my channel. I go back and watch the unboxings, like, oh, this is cute because he's unboxed every album. And I'm thinking to myself, then the biggest kick in the teeth, y'all. Let me take a drink. Y'all got to see Sugar do a show. Y'all got to see Sugar do a show. I have to watch episode. I watched every episode of when the Sugar did his show. When he had him on there drinking, what is it, Swichita? When he did that, when he did his show, I don't know if his show is ever gonna come back. So y'all got to see Sugar do a show and have people on there and interview, and it's all kosher and it's cute. I'm watching it in the future, watching the past, going, oh my God, this is so cool. And Sugar's so cute up here. And he's doing little interviews and he's interviewing the members and doing other people. And him doing IU was my favorite. And then I'm like, okay, so am I ever going to get to experience this like in real time? No, I'm not. I'm a bitter bitch. Okay. So yeah, I am a little bitter. Cause I'm like I'm late to the part. I feel like I ride like when you go to a party, you get there late and everybody's leaving. I'm like, hey, I made it. Everybody leaving. Oh, everybody. Are y'all gone? Oh, okay. I feel like I arrived late to a party and then everybody's leaving, and I was just like, I don't know. So I don't know what to say. Sugar did say himself that they debuted for Army whenever they discovered them. They is. It's like I feel like, and then with BTS now, with me not knowing a lot of things, every day is like a joy. It's like a first day. Yeah, I hate that they did that to him. You think he'll come back fully? He'll come back fully if Korea let him. I think if Korea would just calm that on down and not want to if they let him. What? So you about what? What? Sangita, I don't even know what language that is. I don't even know I don't know, that's a permanent sentence. So yeah, I think Sugar may come back. I mean, but again, I'm a realist, so I don't try to be too optimistic. I just if they let him be. He want to start a career as an idol. Oh boy, that's a. Is you ever dream to represent your country? Your country is South Africa. Uh, can say I believe it or not, I know you're feeling. I got into K-pop because of the group named Shiny, and I'm bringing all of the content. Turns out one of them took themselves out of here. Yeah, yeah, yep, yeah. So it's like you're experiencing fandom like in the past. Like for me, I'm always in the past with BTS, but now I'm up to the future. But I do feel like I'm always reliving things through a lens of okay, this happened in the past. But now I feel like I'm kind of like getting to the point where I can watch Weverse live and watch them interact live, and it's just a whole different. It's a different vibe watching things as they happen than watching things in the past. Watching things in the past, you're like, okay, that's done with, that's over with, and you kind of keep that in the back of your mind, and it's new to you, but then you realize to the fandom, like it's old. I watch concert videos and stuff like that, and it's old. It's old to everybody else, but for me, it's brand new. I was like, oh, you know, you do think they will, Korean media is vicious. Sugar's a person that doesn't take things lightly. He does not. I think Sugar, she said it hit you hard. Yeah, it hit you hard. When you realize, Cameron Phillips dubbed BTS videos. I don't know who Cameron Phillips is. I don't know who that is. Are they on YouTube? If they ain't on YouTube, well, I don't follow a lot of BTS content creators. I only follow a few. Um, I follow Asian Entertainment. I follow HYBE. I follow Soul Light TV and Colt Nava. I follow Colt. Colt is my girl. Colt subscriber to my channel. And then I follow Kville, which is Kville gets the charts. If y'all don't know what Kville is, it tells you the Korean charts. And it gives you like a little snippet of the song. So it takes the charts from 100 to 1. And I watch the Kville every week. I found that channel by accident. I think it was recommended. But I don't follow a lot of like I follow High Boy, and he has another channel called Classic Korea. I follow his. I do follow Korean media channels like Korea Now and Dispatch. I do follow Korean channels. I follow Korean news media channels that are in Korean, and so I do follow like news outlets. But when it comes to BTS, I don't follow very a lot of K-pop or BTS because I don't trust a lot of content creators. Like I don't trust them. Content haters. You get frightened to sing. I just take him to, yeah. It's been a lot of idol. Colt Melvin, that's my girl. Uh, I'm a Kim Namjoon. I really like the boys. I sing a lot in a rapper. Oh, okay. But yeah, I that's my introduction to BTS. But again, my channel didn't start out K-pop or BTS, and then it went that way. It's gone that way now since January of this year. I became like full on BTS centered, and the reason why is because I don't, like I've said it before. I don't feel like when it comes to the BTS army circles that I fit in army circles because it's much too emotional for me. Like I like business conversations about the business and about BTS and Hive and then the other agencies. I like grown folks business. I'm not a Delulu fan. I don't think that I own BTS in any way or that I'm going to be with any BTS member. I'm not a Delulu fan. I don't get in my feelings about BTS being criticize or anything like that because I realize that the K-pop industry is a business, just like the American music industry is a business. That at the end of the day, it's creatives, but it's also them making money as well. And to me, whatever makes money for BTS is good. It was good for their career. Is fine with me. And to me, whatever BTS want to do is fine with me. I've said it before. If they want to leave the industry, if they want to go on tour and come out with an album next year and say we're gone, or some of them want to leave, or all of them want to leave, then I would support it. There's enough media out there, songs, interviews. There's enough out there to keep a person going from now until a lifetime. So I feel like BTS doesn't owe me anything. And then also I have a video coming out because my fandom doesn't hinge on nobody else. Like I'm a BTS army because I'm BTS army. I don't need a million people to be army. It could just be me being army. I could be standing up there with my damn light stick by myself in a cafe and I would be happy with BTS. I would be happy with them. It's whatever BTS want to do. If they want to leave the industry, if they want to stay together, they want to all go solo. Either way, I'm like, they're grown, they're adults. They have to forge their own, they have to have their own lives and do what's best for them mentally and emotionally, and then also for their careers if they want to keep a career. Some of them are not gonna make it. I'm telling y'all right now. Some of y'all in my mind, some of them are not gonna make it. I think they love music, but the longer you in the industry, I think that some of them are probably, it won't be too shocking to me that they choose not to be in the industry any longer. That they're gonna give maybe to the end of their contract, and some of them may just be like, we're gonna be producers and composers. I can see Sugar doing that for sure. And then some of them may be like, I want to. be solo. I can see JK doing that for sure. And some of them, the industry grinds, it's a grind. And as they get older and their bodies get older and they start thinking about, I want to get married, I want to have kids, I want to settle down, or maybe they're just tired. Maybe they're like, I'm just tired. I just need a break. I need a couple of years to just be me and not be part of this. And I just need some time. Maybe they just need some time away. And I just feel like, okay, well, that's their decision because as I said before, life's a journey. It's a journey. It's a marathon, not a sprint. They got a lot, and they're young. They got a lot of life left. They got, ideally, if they live long enough, maybe another 40, 45, 50 years left of their life. And so they can't keep doing this forever. You can just get tired mentally and emotionally, physically tired your body as you get older, especially if they start getting into their 40s and 50s, they can't keep doing this forever. They're going to want to do other things and possibly slow down their career or not. There may be some of them that are like, this is my life and this is what I'm born to do. And it's their life dream to be an entertainer. That's why you see a lot of people that leave the entertainment industries and some of them stay. You know, have I seen J Hope's photos? I love J Hope. J Hope is gorgeous. He didn't. I did attend a Jen's concert. I did a vlog about it. I attended 2 weeks ago in Dallas, and it was fun. But yeah, I respect whatever BTS wants to do. I'm not, and then that's why I don't fit in army spaces and army circles for a lot of reasons because the conversation and the discourse is not on business, and I stay on business. I'm like, okay, like, is this good for BTS? Is this good? And then my thing with BTS is that they're not K-pop. They are a global group. They're not K-pop anymore. They're a global group, and that is what it is. That's my opinion. They are a global group. That they have transcended K-pop, and then people need to start treating them like they're a global group and not like there's some K-pop boys from South Korea. There are K-pop groups out there that have had hits, but BTS is bigger than that now. BTS is bigger than Korea or just the Asian market. BTS are a global group. They're up there with like Beyonce and they're up there with Taylor Swift. They are up there. Like they are up in the upper echelons of the music industry. And then they just happen to be from Korea. And they started out as K-pop. But there are people out there that don't want, there are fans out there that don't want to see BTS grow and don't want to let casual fans in. And there's a lot of gatekeeping in K-pop, and I rail against it all the time. I was like, you cannot gatekeep BTS. They bigger than that now. You're gonna have casual fans. You're gonna have people who are not Army. You're gonna have people who are not on Weverse. You're gonna have people who just listen to BTS through TikTok videos and that's all they know. You're gonna have people go to concerts and they are not K-pop fans and they don't listen to any other K-pop group beside or formerly K-pop group besides BTS. They don't know about these. I am not a K-pop person. I didn't start out being K-pop. I tell people I'm a hip hop rap line girl. I started loving BTS when their music is the rap line is my thing. It's much more my type of music. So I'm not a K-pop person. I'm not a K-pop. I don't adhere to these rules that people be talking about. I'll be like, oh man, I'm like, come on, bro. Like I don't do all that. I don't listen to people and well, you shouldn't do this and you shouldn't do that. I'm like, I didn't spend thousands upon thousands of dollars for K-pop tickets. I have merchandise. I have a damn light stick I spent $65 for. I'll be damned if somebody gonna tell me what I need to not be doing either on my channel or in my real life or with my K-pop fandom. It's different things to different people. So I'm never going to fall in line ever with K-pop fans. I'm never there's shit that K-pop fans do that I don't understand. I will never understand and I don't vibe with at all. And I'm like, no, I don't agree with that. That whole Rolling Stone things, I did a whole video about the Rolling Stone list that people were upset about it. I did not, still to this day, don't understand that list isn't for us. That list is for casuals. That list is for people who don't know BTS. That's what those lists are usually for, to bring people in. But a lot of people don't want to bring people in. I want to bring people in. I want people to come in, and people are not going to come into your fandom if people think the fans are crazy. They're just not. Because I know people who are Beehive and I know Swifties, and they don't act like that. They let people in. They're like, okay, come on, You like Taylor Swift? I like Taylor Swift. Come on. You the Airs tour. You gonna be the Air? Okay, come on, Airs. Let's go. Like they bring people in and they're fine with it. They're like, okay, they know that everybody's not gonna be a diehard Swiftie. Everybody's not gonna be in the Beehive. Okay, we know that. There are people who casually like me, who casually like Beyonce. I can listen to some Lemonade like everybody else and go to her concert and just be happy with it. And that's fine. I'm not gonna follow Bay around like she's my god. But some people, but then again, the people who do, they let other people in. But I find with armies, what I find is very limiting way of thinking that you're gonna gatekeep people. You can't gatekeep no fans. Like, especially international ones. That may work in Korea, but that don't work in, especially not in the West. They gonna be like, we're gonna listen to whatever we want to listen to. And some people are gonna go to BTS concerts and barely know any of their songs, and it is what it is. I mean, that's just how you have to roll with it. You be like, okay, smooth like butter and criminal cover. I mean, light it up like dynamite. I mean, that's just how it is. People are gonna be like, well, I know dynamite and I know butter. I know permission to dance, and you're like, all right, come on, come on. Like, are you all right? Come on. There's gonna be people listen that like just Jungkook. They like, I just like Jungkook. And people get upset with it because they solo stands. Solo stands, I said, come on, solo stands. Y'all welcome here. Come on. Because people be hating on, I said, why y'all hating on people who just solo stands? As long as you're not toxic with it, that's fine. But there are people who just like Jimin. There are people who love Jimin, who are just like, the rest of y'all are okay, but I really like Jimin. There are people, I know a lot of people who love Jungkook. That's the only BTS member they even know is Jungkook. I know the rap heads who love Sugar and RM. Love Sugar and RM. The rap heads, the rap dudes, there are BTS, there are rap channels, like people who are hip hop fans that listen to the rap line. And that's all they listen to. They can't get with nothing else, but they like Sugar and they respect Sugar and RM and their musicality and J-Hope. But they really respect Sugar and RM. And they don't deal with the rest of BTS. And to me, that's fine. And people try to come to their channels and be like, and I'm like, for what for? They're rappers. Rappers are going to like what? The rap line. Okay. Rappers are going to like the rap critics and people who are DJs and produce music and are into hip hop are going to like the rap line. They're going to really appreciate RM. Those people that are into underground hip hop and independent hip hop, they love RM. They love RM in particular. And they love Sugar. And they don't pay attention to the rest of the other ones. And that's fine. They can come to the concert too. Come on. Like they can be up there and just waiting for Sugar to drop some verses. they be like, put on, play, here go. Like, they gonna be screaming from the rafters. Here go. I mean, they're gonna be like, man, that's my jam, RM. Come on, RM. Come back to me. They gonna be there just for the solo stuff. They just there for, look, takes all types. And then they gonna zone out on everything else. They gonna get a hot dog. And then Sugar gonna be talking about, okay. And then they gonna be, and I'm one of these people. But I like all of BTS's music. But yeah, Sugar be like, I'll be like, ooh, Sugar what? It's the Sugar song. It's the Cypher 4. I'll be running to my seat. Cypher 4, here I come. Like they're gonna be, I'm like, well, on my way. I'm here for the ciphers, Like I'm here for the ciphers. That's what I came for. It's like, so those of us who are like, okay, and then I don't get in my crawl and then people, I feel like, get upset when other artists or music critics criticize BTS, and I'm like, BTS is not above criticism than anybody else. They will drag a singer for filth in the West if they don't like their album, or they'll be like, it's okay. And I said, so when BTS come out with the album, don't expect all the critics to be like, oh, we love it. It's great. We love it. Oh my God, it's wonderful. We love it. And then don't get mad at them because they don't love it. You cannot, I know people who don't like BTS, who don't like BTS at all. And it's fine. There are people who don't like K-pop. They don't like Korean music for whatever whatever reason that they have, that's fine. As long as they're respectful. As long as they're not dragging BTS because of what they look like or their sexuality or talking about their personal lives or their weight or anything like that. To me, as long as it's not personal, we're good. But there are people out there who don't like Jungkook singing. I've met people who are like, he's okay. Who is my favorite K-pop idol? Sugar. She said she's your stay and they're just as bad as Army. I haven't been. I don't know any stays. Like I'm a cat. I barely like Stray Kids. My sister-in-law likes Stray Kids. You do have a Ginger says she has a V. I can understand why V is your bias. I can understand why V is anybody. I can see why V is V. V is a very gorgeous man. But you said stays are just as bad. Yeah, there's a lot of that. It's not just Army. It's in K-pop. But I'm just saying that as me as a BTS Army, in order for us to grow as a fandom, we have to let other people in our fandom. We have to let other people be like, okay, like what they like and don't like what they like, and be able to criticize BTS without people getting upset about it. Like I said, the whole Rolling Stone thing put me off so bad because I read the piece and I'm like, okay, so have y'all read Rolling Stone? Because they do this on a lot of different groups and a lot of different bands. It's not just BTS. They do rundowns of songs. They do lists of the best like pop singers, and people get upset because Michael Jackson was not up on higher on the list. But Michael Jackson fans, they just get over it. They just like, oh well, Michael should have been higher. This song from Michael, like they did one about Michael Jackson songs, and people didn't like the it's subject and people got over it. Michael Jackson fans wasn't like, oh my God, going crazy. They was just like, eh. And they've done this about Eminem. They've done this about many different groups. So I don't understand why BTS fans act like this can't be done with BTS. It can be done. It should be. Because that's how you know you've really made it in the Western, the I don't do girl groups. I don't know anything about Baby Mom. I don't do girl groups. I don't listen to any girl. I like Blackpink casually. I'm a casual Blackpink fan because I kind of like their music. I like XG. I like Young Posse because they're more hip hop focused. But BTS is there's going to be critics. There are going to be people who do not like or respect BTS, and as long as they stay respectful, I'm good with it. As long as we just keep it kosher, like keep it respectful, then I'm good. Because not everybody's going to like BTS in K-pop or out of K-pop. Not every critic is going to like them. Not every critic is going to think Jungkook can sing. Again, I know people who are like, he's all right. They do not think that they like, he all right. And I'm like, okay, And that's fine if they think that they're okay. What about SHINee listening to their music? Is that the group with Taemin in it? I know Taemin. Yeah, I know Taemin. Anyway, is that yeah, that is SHINee because I did a video. Wait a minute. I did a video about the hottest K-pop stars the hottest men in K-pop. And Taemin was on my list and he's with SHINee. Right? Right. SHINee, yes. Taemin, yes. And it's in my playlist. Like I did a video. It was a couple of months ago. It's underneath my K-pop playlist. But yeah, I did a video about the gorgeous men in K-pop, and Taemin was on my pretty high up on there on my list because I'm not familiar with his music. Because again, SHINee's going way back. You're going back into but I know about different K-pop groups because I went through the history of K-pop. Like I went through first generation all the way and looked at all their music and watched their music videos. I always champion the past of K-pop over and over again. But yes, I do know who SHINee is. I know that they were, and I know in particular who Taemin is. That's how I know who he is. World tour, they're saying it's going to be next year. It probably won't, probably be summer because all the K-pop people go on tour during the summer, unfortunately. What about Baby Monster? I don't listen to girl groups. Girl groups is not my thing. Oh, Minho, yeah. I'm going to see Kai, who's part of EXO. I We're going to see Kai. Kai is coming to Dallas next month. And so me and Jennifer are going to go see Kai. That's my next. And I know one of his songs, and I don't know any EXO songs. I know who they are, though. There are songs you don't like from BTS. That's my thing about every group. I don't like all of BTS songs. We all know how I feel about Permission to Dance. I talk about I drag Permission to Dance is dog water to me. It is my BTS kryptonite. Like I shut down when people start talking about Permission to Dance. I don't like the song. I don't like the beat. I don't like the concept. I don't like the way BTS was styled in Permission to Dance. Permission to Dance to me is a song that doesn't exist. People are like, what about Permission to Dance? I was like, what are you talking about? Permission to Dance? What's that? Like, I try to pretend on the cool that Permission to Dance is the worst BTS song I have heard. And I don't like anything about it. There are some songs that I don't really care for, but I'm like, man, that styling, the concept was good. The styling was good. Permission to Dance, I'm just sitting there like this. Oh, like, how do you make Kim Tae-young not look good? I was just like, whoever thought of this, I watched Permission to Dance. I can't even watch the behind the scenes. I can't even watch that video without me just like going, what is this? Like, Permission to Dance, though. I love Jackson Wang. I love him. You just joined. What are we talking about? We're talking about BTS. There's a feature that BTS that we are all trying to suppress. Permission to Dance. I just the way Sugar was styled was horrific. I've showed y'all the pictures of the way Sugar was styled. I've held my computer up to the screen and be like, look at this madness. Sugar, all of them were not good. They were not good. Have you listened to Jungkook's 3D? What is 3D? I would say this is where we're in a cult. It's never a cult for me because I don't get in my feelings about BTS. Permission to Dance, baby. Whew, Permission to Dance just drives me nuts. Girl, I don't even want to talk about it because I'm like, what is this madness? Like, who thought this was? Oh, yeah, I am going to talk about GD. Thank you, Molly. I'm sorry, Molly. I apologize, y'all. I could talk about BTS all day. But yes, I am going to talk. Now we're going to talk about G Dragon and YG. So for those of you who don't know, last year there was a lawsuit filed saying that G Dragon and YG, because G Dragon is not part of YG. G Dragon, if you don't know, G Dragon is a rapper legend. He was part of the legendary Big Bang group with T.O.P. from Squid Game. Y'all know who T.O.P. is. And then he used to be part of a agency, one of the big four in Korea called YG Entertainment. He's not part of them anymore. G Dragon came out with an album last year. He went on tour this year. I talked a little bit about his Hot Mess tour, but G Dragon is a legend. He's written his songs, composed his songs. G Dragon is a legend. He's been in the entertainment industry. If you don't know the history of G Dragon, I have to do a video about the history of G Dragon. G Dragon has literally been in the entertainment industry since he was 5 years old. And he has talked about a myriad of health issues and mental health issues he's had, but he is a prolific producer. And I love G Dragon. I absolutely love G Dragon. Okay. So I have to say I'm a fangirl. I kind of crush on G Dragon, just putting it out there. So last year there was a lawsuit filed that kind of went under the radar where there was this producer. Okay, let me go back. This producer filed a lawsuit saying that G Dragon used a song of his without permission, unauthorized. It wasn't plagiarized because in the Korean media, they kind of make it like G Dragon stole this person's song and put a different title on it. That's not what happened at all. HYBE did a whole thing about this, and I went back and reread some things. HYBE did a whole video about this, like in depth and detail, if you want to really know what happened. But I'm paraphrasing and giving you the overview. So last year, there was a rapper producer that filed. I looked up this person. I don't know his name. I did know it, but he's in Korea. And I went back to this person's history because I'm like, who did this? So let me just tell you a little about this person who filed the lawsuit. The person who filed the lawsuit, he is a rapper or ex-rapper that used to be part of a Korean hip hop duo called X-Teen back in the late 90s, 2000s. Okay. Now X-Teen wasn't a big popular group. They came out with some songs. They were kind of like underground, but they did produce and write songs for other Korean rappers. At the time, back in the day, in 2000, back in the day, they made songs for YG. They worked with Teddy at YG. If you know who Teddy is, he's a producer. They worked with the head of YG, And so they worked with YG and various other people, rappers, hip hoppers in South Korea back in the day. And when I say back in the day, I mean back in the day. So I'm talking about, so in 2001, this person, this member, former member of X Teen, rapping duo, producer, and he's not even a famous producer again. He composed and wrote this song that G Dragon had performed the song before. And so G Dragon performed the song like around 2001. He's performed the song with this guy's permission. Let's fast forward to 2009. 2009. Yes, not 2019. Not in the future, not 2029, not 2025. Yes, 2009. You do the math. Carry the one. Okay. 2009, G Dragon, or YG, I should say, releases this CD because, you know, this is when things were on CD. YG releases this CD from G Dragon, okay? Before he was with Big Bang, okay? Because G Dragon had been in the business for a while. So they were marketing him at first as a solo artist. So he releases this CD, and this CD was taken from a live performance that he did. So back in the day, for those of you who are young, because I understand that some people are like, what? Back in the day, they would have live, just like now, they have live albums. You know, BTS has live albums. Every K-pop group, there are a lot of performers that have live albums. Back in the day, they had live albums. They would film the person on stage, and they would put it on CD, and then they would, of course, sell the CD and market the CD. So G Dragon had a CD come out in 2009, which is basically a live album, okay? And it's not really a live album. I would say it's a live mini album because there's not a lot of songs on here. And this was before he became famous, y'all. This is not like... So the same guy that wrote the song for G Dragon in 2001, G Dragon sang this guy's song that he wrote in a medley. Now, if you don't know what a medley is, if you listen to K-pop and BTS in particular, and a lot of groups and a lot of artists, a medley is when a singer or a group will sing like 30 seconds of the song or maybe 20 seconds, and then they go into another song. Then it melds into another song. So G Dragon opened up this live performance where he sang a medley of 3 or 4 different songs. And one of the songs that he sang in a medley was the song that this guy made. And it was put on an album in 2009. Now, listen, okay. This live album is not like, you know, Tiny Desk v Tiny Desk, okay? It's like, this is not Beyonce live kind of live album. When I say live album, I mean, it is very obscure. I went and looked it up because it's on YouTube. It's a very obscure live album. So if you go look up G Dragon live album 2009, you should be able to pull it up. It is obscure, okay, y'all. So it's not like it made a lot of money. So let me say, in 2024, this man sued YG and G Dragon because they were like, this album, yes, let's recap. This album in 2009, the medley in the beginning of the CD had a 30-second snippet of this song that he wrote, and he did not give permission on this album for G Dragon and YG to use a snippet of the song that he apparently composed or wrote. And let me reiterate, in 2009. Why is he suing in 2024? Y'all, listen, okay. I don't know. So in 2024, he filed a lawsuit. He filed a complaint because it's not really a copyright issue, but then again, it kind of is. So it's not like plagiarism. It's not like G Dragon stole the song and put his name on it, because some people were saying that. That's not how it goes. So apparently this guy filed a lawsuit, he filed a complaint. And so they have to investigate. They have a copyright claim, and then they have like a department that does issue copyright law, and they have a courts and all that. So apparently this went to the police. Okay. Apparently what happened a week ago is the police raided YG's offices because of this. Because according to the police in South Korea, take it for a grain of salt, if you will, that they had been sending things to YG for the investigation and that YG didn't cooperate. YG has shot back since this week and said no, that they cooperated. Now, in my opinion, again, I don't have any fact, I'm sure YG's like, we gave you everything that we had. This happened in 2009. Like, I don't know how many records that they have, because any time you have a song, it's kept at a copyright office in Seoul. And the same thing in America. They have records of all this. So the police went to the copyright office and got that information. And then the police are claiming that YG, they sent more official things to YG and YG didn't respond. Now, I cannot believe YG, being a big agency that they are, they knew the lawsuit was filed last year, that also the police are raiding them because apparently YG didn't respond. Okay. Okay. So my question to everybody is, what is really going on here? Like HYBE said, when I read about this story, I feel, in my personal opinion, my opinion, I don't have any evidence. I don't have any evidence of this. But number one, I can't believe that YG wouldn't respond to the investigation on time and let the police raid their offices, number one, about a song complaint, about alleged misuse of a song. The math ain't mathing. What I feel like, I honestly feel in my heart of hearts that this is somehow personal. That I don't know if this is something to do with G-Dragon or something to do with YG. I feel like this is personal. The particular producer, I went and looked in his background, and apparently he had some kind of online thing with somebody back in 2021 about saying that he was the one that gave G-Dragon his name or something like that. And he said, well, that's how he remembered it. Like, I'm like, okay. So I again, why would you sue G-Dragon and YG over a song that was used in a live album medley in 2009, a live album that is not like, you know, the magna opus of G-Dragon? Why would you now sue, like, all these years later, like 15 years? That doesn't make any sense to me. Like, so between 2009 and 2024, he didn't think to sue about. So I don't know what G-Dragon has done. I don't know whether this is something against YG. I don't know. But I just can't believe that this guy sat around going, you know what? This song that I composed back in 2001 is on this live album that is not, again, and this live album is not even in circulation anymore. So again, if he does sue and he does win, my question is, okay, what kind of royalties is he gonna get? This is weird. This is really weird. Right, over a 30-second snippet. Oh, G-Dragon's birthday's tomorrow. Happy birthday. He's gonna be 37. He's still a young guy. So I can't believe that he is getting sued. And then again, what is he gonna get out of this? What can this person possibly get out of this? Royalties? It doesn't. I went and looked. This is not some prolific album that sold millions and millions of copies. It's out of print. It's out of rotation. It's an album that you can't even get. It's on YouTube for free. I'm like, I was freaking out. I was like, wait a minute, is this on YouTube? It's on YouTube for free. So what is he going to get out of this? I don't know. All I can tell you is that a lot of people feel that this is personal. So I don't know what has happened. I don't know what is going on. But I feel like this is somebody that made this man mad about what or who. I don't know. I don't know if somebody didn't owed somebody some money. I don't know if somebody has said something to this person. I don't know if this person feels like he was personally slighted in some way by G Dragon or YG. I don't know what relationship this person has with G Dragon. If he's talked to him in years or if they've been cool off and on. I don't know what this is about. I don't know if somebody slept with somebody's wife. I don't know what this is about. But this seems oddly personal. This seems like somebody who is upset at YG or G Dragon over something, and it has nothing to do with that. So that's why the police raided their office. That's a whole nother side issue that I don't understand. I said it last week in my live stream, and I'm gonna say it again. I feel like the things that are going on, which bleeds into HYBE, I feel like the things that are going on with HYBE right now is what they call a canary in the coal mine. I honestly feel in my heart of hearts that other labels shouldn't be sitting up here kikiing and laughing about HYBE. I think that they should be worried. I think, again, I feel like, and I said it last week, that I feel like there are forces or people or something that I can't are coming for these K-pop companies. I think a lot of these K-pop companies have plans to expand like HYBE has overseas. And I think that somehow the South Korean government doesn't like it, or people that are in these entertainment media spaces, people who run these media, and South Korea has media entertainment like government officials, they may not like this. But I told people that while everybody's snickering and kikiing over HYBE, they better be worried. Don't sit there and tap dance on HYBE's graves too soon, because I feel like this is a test case. Because I feel like they feel if they can hem HYBE up real quick, that they can hem the rest of these other companies up as well. So no fan or nobody should be talking about HYBE and wishing for their demise, because this is not good for the industry at all. Now, if HYBE did something wrong with the IPO thing, we've talked about this, then of course he should pay, Bang Shook should pay back the money and everything like that. But I don't think anybody should be sitting back and being like, ha ha, that's you, ha ha, because I think with them raiding YG's offices over copyright stuff, I just sat back and I'm like, yeah, they should be on notice that the government is not playing with y'all. The government, and then I hear in South Korea, they're trying to issue new tax laws and then new insider trading laws. Like it's a bunch of, the new president is setting up new legislation that has to do with taxes, that have to do with investments, that have to do with insider trading. They are cracking down on the laws. They are changing the laws. They're doing things in South Korea about their financial sector that I'm not in South Korea, I'm not Korean, but I just see these laws and these things being changed. And I think there's a lot of reasons behind it. But of course, at the end of the day, it's always about money. But nobody should be kikiing and caw-cawing about what happened in the HYBE. Nobody should. The Bong PD came back from California, working with BTS, and he came back because basically he's forced to come back because they want to hem Bong PD. I said it before, and they want to embarrass him. They want to hem him up. And they want him to bend the knee. They want to embarrass this man. They want and if they put HYBE on notice, this put the other companies on notice. Look, if you think you finna go out here and create all these divisions in these foreign countries, and Korea is not gonna get their cut or whatever it is that they need their cut for, the government is like, you got another thing coming. The media is like, for sure the Korean media don't give a damn. Korean media is like, we don't give a damn about BTS. We'll drag you for filth up in here. So Korean media gonna get their clicks, and they gonna get their views no matter what. But I think that JYP and SM, well, I don't know SM. You know what? I gotta do my video about SM. But JYP, because SM apparently can do no wrong, y'all. Apparently, according to Korean media, SM is just the golden child of the K-pop industry, because they can do no. So I don't know who Bong PD got a bribe. So like TV talking about he better send that box of fruit. So like TV, if you don't know it, in South Korea, how they be bribing. They talking about how they be bribing people. They buy a really expensive box of, like, South Korea has these huge pears, these real big pears in South Korea, like these Asian pears, and they have like these oranges and stuff. And so what people used to do back in the day, well, people still say they do this. They will buy boxes of expensive fruit, and then underneath the fruit they would put money. So Light TV had me gasping for air, y'all. He had me gagging. I said, "Oh no, not the box of fruit." So that's kind of like the inside, kind of an inside joke in Korea, that that to bribe officials, they would send them gifts like boxes of fruit, and then underneath the fruit would be like money. So you get your box of fruit, and you're like, "Oh my God, pears!" And then you move all the pears, and then underneath it would be like, 10,000 won or 100,000 won. Like that. That's the inside joke in South Korea. They were like, Bang PD must have not have bribed enough people. Baby, I was like, yeah. Have you been to BTS concert? No, I went to a Jin concert. So something is definitely going on. I've been BTS Army since last year. So no, I like Stray Kids. I went to a Stray Kids concert, but no, I'm not a Stray Kids fan. But I did do a video about them, and I did a concert vlog, and it was a good concert. But yeah, I'm like, Bang PD, I don't know who he got the bribe. He ain't bribed nobody enough. I don't know what he has to do, but he's back in Korea. And again, in America, if any CEO was going through stuff like this, they would send their lawyers, and their lawyers would handle it. Their lawyers, their PR people. A CEO would not come back and handle none of this. The CEO would be in the damn Cayman Islands somewhere. On a Zoom call with their lawyers. Just let me know when everything's good, okay? But in South Korea, it's not a good look for him not to be there, and all this other stupid stuff, okay? So that's why he went back to South Korea, because it's just not a good look. Like, PR wise and company wise, especially to his employees and stuff like that. When in America, I'm like, I didn't work for large companies, Fortune 500 companies, and there's executives that got in trouble, and they lived in other states and other countries, and they never came back. They were like, "Let me know when the trial starts and I'm subpoenaed." They would tell the United States government to subpoena me, and I'll be back then. But other than that, they would not show up and do any of the things that Bang PD is doing. But again, it's Korea, and sometimes Korea be like Bizarro land to me, because the way they do things is just different, and it's just a lot of stuff. Okay, hold on, y'all. Y'all talking about Baby Monster. Treasure and Baby Monster YG announcement. So apparently YG had some announcement that I don't know about Baby Monster and Treasure. Again, I don't care about Treasure or Baby Monster, but I'm gonna look, because I don't like girl groups. And I know YG's coming out with another group. Okay, so I'm speaking of YG. Let's look at them. Treasure and Baby Monster, they have new albums. They will be dropping soon. Treasure, this is their 5th anniversary. I'm mad at YG anyway. I'm mad at the Black Label, because I know, and I respect the CEO of YG, the former CEO. His brother, y'all know his brother runs it now. But I'm not into Treasure or Baby Monster. But apparently they announced today that well, Treasure's a boy group. That I'm not into Treasure, but they announced that they coming out with a new album, I guess, supposedly. So I guess that was the big announcement, I guess. And Baby Monster's okay. I mean, it's just not my type of music. Especially what Baby Monster's doing now is just clownery. So it's not that 90s flavor of music, is clownery. So I do have to say that. So what else? New Jeans. The New Jeans news is the courts are trying to get them to go to mediation with Adore, and it's not happening. And then the mediation before their final court date, which is in October. I forgot what day. I think October 20th. They have like their court date. And I just want this to be over with. New Jeans is not going to mediate with Adore. They're not. They don't want to mediate. They are not. And for all intents and purposes, New Jeans' career is over. I called this last year, that when all this started to blow up and start happening, that New Jeans, if they continue on this path to October, they're gonna have to pay up. They can leave a door anytime, but you gotta pay. But you gotta pay. You can leave at any time, but you gotta pay. That's my thing. You can't just walk your way out of a contract. You got to have some pretty strong reasons, especially in South Korea, why they're in breach of contract. And from everything that looked at the door over the past year and a half, this nonsense has been going on. None of it. It's just people emotionalizing something that shouldn't be emotionalized. The K-pop industry, for good or worse or bad or indifferent, it is what it is. You cannot walk out of contracts in America, and you cannot walk out of contracts in South Korea, especially K-pop contracts. And if people want to change the K-pop contracts, it's going to take more than New Jeans and Min Hee Jin to change that. If you're talking about changing the nature of the contracts in South Korea, good luck with that. That would take years and years of litigation. You would have to go to the government and have the government intervene. There are groups, like they have certain agencies and groups in South Korea that handle, there's like one for entertainment, there's one for like management and stuff like that. All of these things are connected and tied to the government of South Korea. The government of South Korea has no invested interest to change the contracts in South Korea. I'm going to say it again for the people in the back. Y'all ready? The government of South Korea has no invested interest to change these contracts in South Korea. If the agencies don't, each agency vary on how they do their contract. But at the end of the day, there are things in these South Korean K-pop agency contracts that would never fly here in America, but they're not in America. We have laws against certain things. They don't have those laws in South Korea. So the idea that you're going to change the way contracts are made and done in South Korea, good luck. You're going to need a lot of money. You're going to be up for years and years and years of fighting, because the South Korean government has no vested interest into changing these contracts. It benefits the South Korean government and their economy to have the contracts just the way that they are, because as long as these companies are generating revenue, they are paying taxes to the government. And as long as these K-pop singers and these K-pop groups and agencies are bringing tourists, are bringing revenue, K-pop is a multi-billion-dollar industry, USD. They are bringing in a lot of money to the Korean economy. And the Korean government has no invested interest into shaking things up in the K-pop industry too much, and they don't want to. And so I don't know how you would change it. So people can rail about how unfair the contracts are and blah, blah, blah. Okay, well then don't be a K-pop singer, because these contracts are not going to change anytime soon, boo-boo. They're just not. There's no incentive for the agency to change the contract, for sure, and there ain't no incentive for the government. So unless somebody has some kind of invested interest to change the way the contracts are done, or they create laws, because again, in America, they had to create laws to stop people from making slave contracts in the entertainment industry. You had little kids working 10, 12, 13 hours a day being locked in a damn closet. People had to litigate their way out of that. People had to come forward and say, perhaps we shouldn't work the kids 10, 12 hours a day and lock them in a damn closet. Yeah, that sounds about right. Like, oh, that's horrible. Oh, that's terrible. Like, perhaps kids shouldn't, be worked like an adult. So people instituted child labor laws. They don't have these laws in South Korea. They just don't. There's nothing me, you, or anyone else can do about that. Because again, the country and the agencies and the entertainment industry has a vested interest in keeping these contracts just the way that they are. Nobody is going to want to shake up the K-pop industry contractually anytime soon. Nobody is going to. It would take something severe, and I don't even know what it would take to change the contracts, the way the contracts are done. Nobody wants to change the contracts. Just nobody. Nobody cares about changing the contracts. So it's just not going to happen. So I tell people, don't hold your breath. So New Jeans, they're going to end up, if they're going to want to get out of their contract, they're going to have to pay. It's just that simple. This is all to it. It's not anything emotional. It's not anything. New Jeans have in essence painted themselves in a corner that they now probably are starting to realize that they can't easily get their way out of. And it's not sad because they did it to themselves. They listened to Min Hee Jin's madness, and they listened to her, And I don't have any, I have little sympathy for them at all, because it's like, but y'all did it to yourselves. You shouldn't, they shouldn't have listened there. The parents shouldn't, in particular, shouldn't have listened to Minhee Jin, and the parents should have known better, and they should have gotten some kind of legal advice or counsel. So I feel like, you just kind of like tough out of luck. And then sends a message out to the next K-pop group, like, don't try this, don't try it, don't do it. And then people are going to learn that you can't fight the system the way that it currently is. It would take somebody bigger than Minhee Jin and bigger than New Jeans. Minhee Jin overstepped her reach. She overstepped her bounds, and she thought she was bigger than the industry, but she's not bigger than the industry. I mean, the industry, it is what it is. And so, yeah, I'm definitely arming. So there you go. But the industry, it is what it is, and you're not gonna fight fire with fire unless you got a fire. You got a big fire stick. So I think that that's not going to happen. Okay, so we talked about the topics that I need to talk, which brings me to the other topic that I promised y'all: pouring K-pop tea. So let me talk. I'm going to talk about three things in this segment. Okay, I'm going to talk about three different K-pop things that I have yet talked about. I know two people that work in the K-pop industry. They do not work in HYBE or Big Hit or anything HYBE related, and they are not creatives. So they are not singers, producers, writers. They're none of that. They're not creatives. So they're not in a K-pop group. They don't work. They don't write music. They don't sing. They don't create the beats. They're not vocal coaches or anything like that. So they work in the K-pop group, but they work for, and these two people work for two separate agencies, but I can't say with two separate agencies. So we're going to talk about three things that will just give y'all some food for thought, because I normally I'm not going to mention people's names because I can't out people, but I can give you guys examples. So we're going to talk about, I try to talk about safe things. And again, as my channel has more memberships, we will come on and we will have a members only stream where I will tell y'all the deal. I will tell y'all, a little bit more where I get, spill it. You ready? Marie says she ready, damn it. She here. So number one, let me riddle you this. Do y'all know that y'all K-pop fans out there who know who fans of multiple groups, and that we all know, or should know, that around the time that a new album is coming out, or they're going on tour or something like that, K-pop singers and groups, they go on promotions. So that during promotions that companies have what they call black propaganda. If you don't watch Asian entertainment, please do. She has a YouTube channel where she talks a lot about the industry as well, and she talks about black propaganda, which is when other agencies, Kakao has been accused of doing this. Kakao's on trial, by the way. I'll talk about that next week, about Kakao is in court. But Kakao has done this, and other agencies, including HYBE, have been accused of putting things out in the media to bring down other groups. Moonlight God says she is folding laundry. So other agencies have been accused that whenever a group is coming out with another album or a comeback or something, that other agencies will put out things like rumors. Sometimes it's really small things, and that's called what they call black propaganda. So we all know this happens. But have y'all heard rumors that a group wasn't promoting anything? They weren't scheduled to come back. They weren't going on tour, anything like that. And I'm not talking about like scandalous things. I'm not talking about illegal things. Okay, let me say this. I'm not talking about people being accused of essaying or beating someone up or anything, or a photo of them, doing something bad. I'm not talking about anything that extreme. So sometimes there might be, like I said, a dating scandal. Sometimes there might be some really odd, weird rumor, but you're like, okay, this person is not, this person is particular group or a particular group member. For some reason, first of all, I'll tell y'all, rumors get started in South Korea in the Korean message boards. That's where they start, and then they grow and they spread outward to the international media. If you didn't know, that's how rumors get started. So you'll notice a group that is not in the middle of a promotion or anything. And all suddenly some rumor will spread about the group, um, or some rumor spread about a particular member. I'm gonna use this as an example. I'm not saying anybody who, but let's just say there's a group out there and they just doing their thing. So a rumor starts spreading that a particular group member is broke, or a particular group member has a gambling problem, like something benign, or a particular group member is not very nice. Things like this. And there's no proof, there's no video or anything like this. Now you may be wondering, well, this person don't ever get no trouble. They're not promoting anything. So this is not, it's not black propaganda. It's not another agency trying to sabotage a group's promotions or their comeback. It's not that. Do y'all know that like the old saying they say in the South, sometimes it be your own people? So I'm gonna tell y'all something. When you see rumors that pop out of nowhere, I'm here to tell y'all from what my experience, again, this is all legend, that sometimes it be your own people. Now, just like in every society, you get people who are jealous, who are upset, and they will go in these Korean cafes. They will go online in these message boards and they will post things. Now, who does this kind of stuff? Sometimes it's an ex-girlfriend or ex-boyfriend. Sometimes it's a family member that they didn't give money to. Sometimes it's somebody that they went to school with, or somebody that there was an ex-friend of theirs that they may not be cool with anymore. So it really do be your own people sometimes. Sometimes it is a relative. Like when they talk about the Tableau thing with Epic High, and I did a whole video about this in my playlist about the whole insanity of the Tableau Epic High thing. If you have not heard about that, it's K-pop fuckery at its finest. And it is the most horrific story that I've heard. And like I said, it's not anything like sexual or anything like that, but they accused him of faking his college transcripts. The thing that I mentioned in that video is that one of the rumors is that his cousin started that rumor. And that blew my mind. And I read it over and over again. Oh, I watched videos that one of the things they're saying with the Tableau scandal about him, but they're saying he faked his transcripts, is that his cousin started the story. Now, as to why, allegedly, again, allegedly, but I heard that his cousin started the story. Now, as to why his cousin did that, we would never know. Sometimes it might have been a joke. He may have been mad at Tableau for some reason, but it's a crazy story. So I tell people that sometimes when you hear rumors out the blue, you have to be like, why is this like why is this? And a lot of people immediately think it's an agency or something like that. But nah, y'all, sometimes it be a jilted ex-girlfriend. Sometimes it really do. It just be that simple. And because people are petty. Sometimes it do be somebody that was a friend of theirs and they're not friends anymore. Or they ask, one of their relatives asked them for money and they're like, no, I'm not going to give you money. You know, or sometimes it just be people just be jealous of you. That'll go online and spread things just to see if it's going to stick. And then people will run with it. And it'll be sometimes things just to embarrass the person. Sometimes it'll be something a little bit more serious, but a lot of times it'll just be really goofy, just real goofy, embarrassing thing, just goofy stuff. Like I read so much goofiness and I asked my friend, I said, what is this about? Like, this is just goofy rumors. Like, you know, it ain't nothing too bad, but it's enough to get people in K-pop circles talking. And then somebody told me, they're like, sometimes people start stuff and it's personal. And I was like, what? I've heard that sometimes, so when you hear things and you're like, that don't sound true, and you know it's not true, sometimes, yes, like the old saying goes, it do be your own people. Sometimes it do be a jaded or a jilted person in their life that didn't get their way, or they wanted money from them and they may have said no, like, no, you know, I don't want money. And then the next thing you know, like her rumors floated out there. And a lot of times the rumors are floated out there, they don't catch hold. But for some reason, there are certain particular rumors that do catch hold. And again, it's not enough to ruin someone's career, but it's enough in K-pop spaces to kind of ruin their reputation. Like sometimes there's dating rumors out there. And with the dating rumors, it's a little bit different because sometimes it is the agency putting out y'all understand that the agency sometimes put out the dating rumors. and they really are dating, and then the agency just trying to see how fans are going to react. And then sometimes the dating rumors are completely false, but they were dating somebody else, and then that person has put out that rumor. Or sometimes a person be cheated on. Hell hath no fear is a woman scorned. Sometimes people find out this that the K-pop singer they're dating is dating somebody else, and then they will put a rumor out there or float it saying this person is dating this person. Yeah, because they used to date you and they don't want you no more. Now they with somebody else. And so they'll try to ruin a person's reputation or sometimes even a person's career. So I tell people that be a little leery when rumors just float to the top out of nowhere, because sometimes it don't be crazy Delulu fans. Yeah, sometimes yes it is. But sometimes really, y'all, it really do be real people who are upset with these K-pop, fans. She said, well, as simple as Jungie being tipsy on a small scooter and stumbling from the school got massive hate train. Oh, that's a whole nother thing, honey. That's a whole nother, that's black propaganda. That's a lot of things. With the sugar thing is a lot of things. It is a lot of things. Like I don't think the sugar thing was personal, but it'd be a lot of things. And yes, in the way Korean culture, jealousy is real big. Um, that's something that you never think about, right? Did you like that's something that a lot of people don't think about. And I had my K-pop worker friends. I'm like, tell me stuff that people don't really think about. And I never thought about that. I'm always thinking it's the Korean media, it's the Korean media, it's the Korean media, it's aunties, it's delusional fans. No, they like, yeah, that too. But they like, girl, sometimes it like they say, it be your own people. They like, girl, sometimes it be relatives who be mad or jealous. Cause it's just it's human being. It doesn't matter what society, what culture you're in. It doesn't matter how old you are. It doesn't matter what race you are. Y'all understand. Y'all understand. Like I'm gonna tell y'all something right now. Y'all understand. If you're watching this video, listen to what I'm telling you. Y'all know. Y'all. Some of y'all watching this video got relatives y'all f with. Y'all know damn well. Y'all. Some of y'all watching this videos got relatives y'all do not mess with. Y'all know y'all got that one cousin that like when y'all go to the barbecue, the cousin gotta come, but really low key, you like, I'ma just love you from a distance. Y'all know y'all got relatives that you have to love from a distance. Or you got parents that your parents has relatives and kin that they gotta love from a distance. Because they can come to the family reunion, maybe they can come to the barbecue, the wedding, but you damn well know that like cousin Kathy, you don't F with cousin Kathy no more because you know damn well cousin Kathy ain't shit. Like let's be honest. We all got relatives that we know that like I'm blood related to you, but I don't really mess with you like that. Like we can be over here and like, hey girl, yeah, okay. But you know that once you get involved in this person's life on a personal level, their life is a hot mess. They either always borrowing money from people, they either gossiping about other family members behind their back, they stealing from family members. We all got rid of, I have people like that in my life that you just have to cut these, they're real toxic. They always have a lot of drama, and you just have to cut these people off. And that's the same thing that applies to K-pop singers. They have family members that are hot messes. And then once you become famous, these hot mess relatives will gravitate towards you like, oh, my cousin is famous. They're a K-pop singer. And then here they come. Here they come because they have a new business adventure and they want to borrow money for you, or they want you to invest in their new business adventure. Or they just drama. They want to hang around you because you're famous and you have money. And they like, oh, I want to go to this party with you and I want to go to this club. And you're like, oh, here come cousin Kathy again. Or here come cousin Ken. And you're like, oh. So we all have those of us in our family that we understand that we have that we have to keep them at arm's length. And just imagine, and it's the same thing that happened to K-pop singers. They have hot mess family members. Y'all didn't learn about plenty of K-pop stars that have had parents that they have to take care of because they're culturally obligated in Asian culture to be more obligated than us in the West, that they have to deal with it. So when you're talking about Southeast Asian, you're talking about Asian cultures, you're talking about African cultures, there is a sense of responsibility in taking care of your elders, your parents and your grandparents, your brothers and sisters. But sometimes these people have brothers and sisters that really are leeches. And so sometimes you have to put your foot down for your own sanity and say, no, I can't invest in your business, or no, I'm not going to give you this money, or no, this is the third or fourth time I've invested in whatever. And then you realize that this family member or friend is really not good for you. Like what happened with Jimin. If y'all didn't hear about what happened last year, that Jimin had that friend that he gave $75,000 to, and the dude turned out he had a gambling problem. He was an alcoholic, and other people, and he supposedly had a quote unquote business, but he really didn't. And he took Jimin's money, and the guy went to court and went to jail because of it, because he was taking other people's money as investments, but really he had a gambling addiction. So y'all, those of us, we know you have family members who are addicted to things, whether they be drugs, alcohol, whatever, gambling, sex, whatever it is. And so once you get to making some money or you get settled, these people will come into your life like, oh, cousin such and such, I need to borrow some money. Or their brothers and sisters, oh, I need to borrow some money. Or auntie such and such need money for this and that. And so, like I said, being in South Korea and their Asian culture, they feel obligated. There's a lot of familial pressure for them to help them. But y'all know what I'm talking about. Y'all know we got family members. Um, oh, you just got a live stream from the thing. You talk about leeches every which way. Girl, yeah. I'm like, come on now. Y'all know. Yeah, and she's anonymous says she don't mess with her dad's side. Right. Some of y'all got whole sides of y'all family y'all don't mess with because all of them are toxic or in some type of way. So that's what I'm saying. So when you hear things like this, you hear gossip and rumors that have nothing to do with nothing, that sometimes it is petty family members and friends. It is people who didn't get their way about certain or got jilted, and they are now upset and they are trying to embarrass this person or bring them down because they know they can't go through the family and do it. Like in America, if one of your families don't mess with you, y'all gonna have a fight. Y'all gonna cuss each other out. You may windmill on them y'all be at the y'all be at Thanksgiving fighting. Y'all be at Thanksgiving ready to squad up on them. Y'all be ready to throw down hands. Like it's different in America, but in Korea, it's like, okay, well we ain't gonna squad up. I'm not gonna windmill on them. We ain't gonna fight. So I can't windmill knock them out because that's just not you. You don't do that to family. In Asian cultures, and you try to be respectful, especially if they're older than you. They're your elders, and so you will sit up with these family members. But then like on the low, you have to kind of like cut them off a little bit. But again, you deal with people who are petty, and so they're not gonna come to you and be like, "Well, why didn't you give me that money?" And they're not gonna come cuss you out and key up your car and put holes in your tires. Now, if they're crazy, then yeah, you may have some crazy family members that may be a little mental. But I'm just saying that in their culture, if somebody don't do something, you just be like, "Okay, that's cool," and then you don't really say anything. Then on the low, though, you gonna head over to DC cafes and you be like, Jungkook it ain't shit, and he owe a whole bunch of money, and he got a gambling problem. I'm just using that example. So you're not gonna confront that family member because they didn't give you money. You're not really gonna say anything. You're just gonna be like, oh, okay. But then you go on the low and then undermine that person, and then you're doing it anonymously online. So it's not like that family member is going to trace it back to you anyway, because if they're an idol, they're like, oh my God, here comes another rumor. Oh my God, here comes another anti-fan dragging me. So the idols themselves are thinking that it's anti-fans or black propaganda or something like that. They're not really suspecting that their family members would do something like that. But some of them do find out eventually that it is a family member or friend or somebody they went to school with that has drugged them through the media. And then there's not really much for they can do. There might be a confrontation, but after that, the damage is done. Like once it's floated out there, and you can't undo it. You can't undo a bad rumor. So I give y'all food for thought. So when y'all hear rumors and stuff like that, y'all will think of it, because I know, again, for me, I'm automatically thinking these are anti-fans, these are BTS haters, these are black propaganda. This is SM this is Dispatch. And this is Minhee Jin, damn it, it's Minhee Jin and the shaman. It's the shaman. No, sometimes it's not the shaman. Sometimes it's not Minhee Jin, and it's not the shaman. Sometimes it really do be something personal. So when they talk about going back to the G Dragon and the YG thing and then the lawsuit and how this came like 15 years later, the first thing I thought about, I was like, this sounds personal. This sounds like something that is a personal beef. That is and it happens. There are personal beefs. The people have rivalries and jealousies and personal beefs with people that do get out of hand, but not everybody can sue. Coming out the woodwork, yeah, they be coming up with you like cockroaches. Like, oh, hello, Ahmad. My bias is Sugar. Sugar's my ult. He's my ultimate bias. But yeah, so people, will come out and do things and sabotage people like that. So that's one thing I would have to say to y'all that I've heard. That's my first T. I'm trying to think, what is my second one? Um, oh, my shoulders is hurting. Um, oh no, sorry, my thing is blanking out. So yeah, that's my first line of business with the T. So it just gives y'all a little food for thought. My second line of T is um hold on. Oh yeah, my second line of T in the same vein. In the South Korean industry, what I'm probably going to do a video on is that people don't talk about. There is a lot. This has to do with the same thing. There is a lot of blackmail in the South Korean industry. There is a famous K-pop singer, and I think he was part of Shiny. I think he was a member of Shiny or TVXQ. I don't know which group. I forgot. I had to go look it up again. But there have been all kinds of entertainment, like sports people that have been blackmailed. There is a lot of blackmailing in South Korea and in the K industry, entertainment industry, whether it be actors, actresses, singers, or whatever. And I think that like that doesn't get talked about a lot. It's kind of like a hush hush thing, but there is a lot of blackmail. So sometimes you'll see idols do things that are out of character or make moves like business investments and stuff like that that you're like, why would they do that? Like, why would they even do that? Or just do things that are just out of the ordinary. There's a lot of blackmail. And I mean, blackmail like on a social level and not just financial blackmail, but on a social level. Like I talked about, there's a K idol who was supposed to be in Aladdin in South Korea. And he went from being a idol to on the stage. I mean, if y'all can look him up, look him up. But he successfully won a lawsuit a month and a half ago, and I talked about it on a live stream, where he was being blackmailed 5 years because he talked to some chick online during the pandemic. You know, the pandemic and everybody was locked in. So there were a lot of people online interacting with fans and stuff like that. So he interacted with a fan and she was talking to him, and I don't know what was going on in these conversations that they were having on Facebook. I don't know, baby. We don't know because they have not been released. But apparently, eventually, she threatened him to release the messages that they were corresponding with. They were DMing each other, and then eventually led it to like them like exchanging cacao, and they were cacao messaging. And then she came to him saying that she was gonna release the messages, and I don't know what was in his messages. He claimed now that there was nothing in these messages. He claimed there was nothing in these messages. But again, how are you going to blackmail somebody for 4 or 5 years if there was nothing in these messages? So, and she blackmailed him, and she was getting money. He was sending her money for almost 5 years, and then he eventually got tired of it, and he took her to court, and she went to court, and she got found guilty, like she going to jail because she was blackmailing this dude for 5 years, and he's not the only one. There are former K-pop singers, entertainers, or whatever out there that are being blackmailed, and it doesn't take much. You know, in South Korea, it doesn't take much to ruin your reputation. If you just say the wrong thing in South Korea, you could lose your job and your career and everything else, whether you're a current idol, former idol, or whatever. So a lot of times people make moves and do things that people don't like. People leave groups and all kinds of stuff. Sometimes people leave groups just because they can't deal with the industry. But there's a lot of blackmail in the industry. The way K-pops can't have a normal life is sad. The poor guy that got kicked out of Rise, yeah. Oh, I had did a whole video about that last year about Rise. All because he kissed someone. Yes, he had a girlfriend when he was a trainee. Before he even knew he was going to get picked up by a group. And somebody leaked them pictures, and I said it before and I say it again. The thing that nobody talked about, that Rise thing, who leaked the photos? Nobody's ever. I sat back and I read that story up and down. Everybody was talking about he was with this girl and the fans was mad he got kicked out of the group, and they had funeral wreaths, and the guy was standing out there crying. The poor boy walked outside and saw the funeral wreaths, and they had him on camera and he was crying. Like, it was so horrible. But the thing that never got answered to me, I was like, so who leaked these photos? Because these were personal photos of him and this girl. It wasn't like it was photos he put out there. It was personal photos, and everybody blamed everybody else. The girl, he didn't date that girl no more. He wasn't seeing the girl no more. So I'm like, who leaked the photos? Somebody leaked these photos. I said, oh, this dude made somebody mad because somebody leaked these photos. The girl tried to blame her friend. The friend tried to blame somebody else. Somebody else blamed the ex-girlfriend. Everybody was pointing fingers at everybody else. It wasn't me, wasn't me, wasn't me, wasn't me, was it you, was it me, was it me? Somebody was petty and they released this boy's personal photos of him and this girl. And it was no big deal. He was allowed to kiss a girl and date a girl when he was a trainee. He didn't know he was going to be picked up for a group. He had no way of knowing. So a lot of the trainees do have boyfriends and girlfriends of people that they date and they see. But again, you're not allowed to. And like I said before, sometimes it be your own people. When people see things that get released and you're like, where did this come from? It because somebody's mad at them. That Rise kid, I said, I don't know who he made mad. I don't know if this girl was on some kind of vendetta. Maybe she was mad, child, because they weren't together no more. And maybe she see him get rich. Oh, he rich, girl. You see your ex-man, girl? What about him? Girl, you see he got picked up in that new SM group. What? Yeah, girl, he in that new SM group. Rise, girl. You know, he didn't made it, girl. Look at your ex-man. He didn't made it. Huh? Wait a minute. Let me see. What? Oh, that is my ex. Oh, yeah, he was a trainee. Oh, now he famous. Let me call him. Hey, boo, what you doing? Oh, hey, girl, what you doing? Hey, what you doing? Hey, what you? I see you made it. Oh, girl, yeah. Oh, yeah, I made it. You see me? You know, I picked up. I'm in Rise. So we gonna get together? Well, I really don't have time right now. Okay. Then she calling him again. So you what you doing? What you doing next week? I'm training. We rehearsing. I don't really have time, right now. Like, but I'll get back with you. Maybe he never got back with her, and maybe she was jealous. Maybe she watching him on TV, watching him do promotions, and she like, I'm calling this dude, and he not calling me back. And one thing leads to another. And the next thing you know, she like, and maybe there was room. Maybe her friend called her, girl. You hear about your ex? Yeah. I talked to him the other day, girl. You hear about him? You hear him seeing some other girl? Oh, he was flirting with some other K-pop singer. What? Yeah. Have you talked to him? Yeah, he didn't return my phone call though. Oh, girl, yeah, I hear that he over here talking to some other girl. Okay, girl, bye. He may have been talking, and she was like, "The hell with this dude," and that's how it happens. I'm not saying that that's how it happened, but that's how these things happen because somebody released them photos. Somebody released them photos of him and this girl, and nobody really ascertained. I never read anything saying how this happened, why did this happen. Everybody was blaming everybody else, and his friend group that he had, his supposed AKA friends that was supposed his friends. And I'm like, baby, them friends was not his friends. For them to let this go on and let these photos get released or whatever, them people, I would be questioning my friendships because I'm like, which one of y'all put these photos out here? And they all was like, wasn't me. And I'm like, okay. These people supposed to be your friends. They're not your friends. These people may be your friends in your face, but then behind closed doors, they may be very jealous or envious. And then there's a lot of envy in South Korea. There's a lot of envy in South Korea. A lot. Because people, it's materialism and wealth. And people are like upset that this person is now going to be a K-pop singer and they actually made it. And then a lot of times when you're dating a trainee, a lot of the trainees don't make it. And so when you're dating someone or seeing someone who's a trainee or they're friends of yours, you're thinking to yourself, it's a snowball chance in hell that my ex or my friend is going to make it. And then when they do make it, a lot of their friends are happy. But some of their friends are jealous. And some of their exes are jealous. And sometimes they got to leave the exes behind. They don't have time to have a caring relationship. They don't have time. Baby, I don't have time. What do you mean you don't have time? I don't have time. And then they get angry because here this person finna be famous and rich, and here you get left behind. So sometimes people do get upset. But like I said, and that's when the sabotage come in and the blackmail come in. So for K-pop singers, not only do they have to worry about like anti-fans and stuff like that, but they also have to worry about people in their social circle, just like that K-pop singer. And I'll look him up. I'll look him up later on, but next time, next week, the K-pop singer that it was pretty sad that he was being blackmailed for 4 or 5 years about somebody he met on Facebook. And again, I don't know what they were talking about. I would love to know, but those text messages are never going to be released. But she went to jail because she's threatening, and he's not the only one. And y'all know that people, these people that they date, and I'm not trying to call out women because it happens with me, with the lady, female singers too. They get blackmailed too by family members and friends and exes and stuff like that. But with the men, they're like with that soccer player in South Korea, how that chick went to prison because she was accusing him. She was saying, she was telling the dude she was pregnant, and she wasn't pregnant. Y'all remember that? Y'all hear about that? About that guy who plays soccer, and he was with this chick, and the chick was claiming she was pregnant. She wasn't pregnant. She was just shaky. She was blackmailing him. Like, I'm gonna tell everybody I'm pregnant. Or people cheat. People cheat on their wives. People cheat on their husbands. They have affairs, and the person that they have an affair with is threatening to, blow their life up. And then you have people, ruin their whole reputation when they find out that they're cheating on their husband or wife with somebody else. I mean, as a K drama actor, actress, that can ruin your whole career that you married and you out here cheating with your co-star or whatever like that. And in America, we're used to it. We just like, no big deal. But in South Korea, it can ruin your whole life, ruin your whole career. And then sometimes people, like I said, people blackmail you. They're like, okay, we're cheating. And then a person may be like, I need to break this off. I need to go back to my wife or my husband. And they be like, no, you're not. I need some money. Do I like stray kids? I'm okay with stray kids. This is resentment and feeling of rejection. Yeah, it's a lot. That's right. In Chant Dante, I'll be questioning every. That's why you can't trust nobody in K-pop. That's why a lot of them date the same people over and over again. So that's another caveat of tea that I have to drop. For the most part, a lot of people when they do date in K-pop, they date K-pop singers in people in the K industry because it is hard to trust somebody outside of the K industry. So I tell people K-pop singers and actors and models, they date each other because they understand that like they're not gonna drop dimes on each other. Like they're not gonna ruin each other's relationship unless they're real crazy. But a lot of them do date within the industry because number one, the person just understands you. They're in the industry. And number two, y'all both ain't gonna tell on each other. So a lot of them do stay within the industry. And it's hard to, I mean, who you gonna trust? If you start dating somebody not in the industry, they can tell your secrets and not much is going to happen to them, their reputation and maybe their job if they're just a regular person. A lot is not going to happen to them. But the person is in the industry, they know that they're not going to spill your secrets because they are in the industry and they don't want their secrets spilled as well. So it's kind of like a hostage situation. So a lot of them don't date outside of the industry. If they do date, they don't date outside the industry. And when they do date inside the industry, a lot of them will keep coming back to the same person over and over again. They'll date somebody, it don't work out, or it's not serious. They just go out on dates, they just hook up with somebody, then they don't talk to them for a couple of months, and then they gravitate back to that person for whatever, or they'll bump into that person again at a industry party or an event or whatever, or they bump into that person, or they out with, and that person's a friend of a friend, and they'll all hang out together. So this is kind of how it goes in the K-pop industry. They do date each other because it's safer, and they end up going back and forth and back and forth to the same people over and over again, hooking up with the same people over and over again, or dating, or actually having relationships with the same people over and over again. This person will be with this person will be with this singer, and then this actress, and then back to the singer again, and back to this other. Like that's kind of how it goes when they're actually involved in having a relationship with somebody. It's very hard to date outside the industry. It's possible. There are some that do date outside of the industry, but it's something to where if you do date outside the industry, you have to really, really trust that person. And a lot of times it's because, and a lot of times the people who do date outside the industry is because they're on their way out of the industry. So, how much I know about BTS? Quite a bit, you know. Yeah, they can make a people sign an NDA. They don't hold up in court though. And it doesn't hold up with reputation. They can still come out here and be like, still come out and spill the beans. But again, it's a situation where we are both in the same industry, so we're not gonna say anything. And like I said, and then it's a lot of bouncing back. It's a lot of that. From what I've heard, a lot of idols bounce back and forth between the same people for years. For years. It is very risky. Yeah, it's very risky. You have to really, really trust that person. And when you do find someone you trust, it's hard to let that person go. So I can say something. There is a particular K-pop singer that I frequently make jokes about, but it's because the person that this person allegedly dated works in the agency where my friend works, in the division where my friend works. And she actually knows this particular person's ex, I guess you would say girlfriend. I don't know if I would really classify her as a girlfriend. It is, and this person has been rumored to be with this K-pop singer guy. The rumor has been out there. Like, it's not a big rumor, but it's out there. Like, if you're really looking for it, you can find it. And I can almost guarantee you that this person did date this person, and this person does go back and forth to this person. And they have. I don't know about lately. We don't know about recently, but I can almost guarantee you this person has gone back and forth to this person. And I make jokes about this K-pop singer all the time. So if you watch my live streams, you know what I'm talking about. But I make jokes. I make sword jokes that you guys are like, oh, you're so funny. And I'm like, yep, hilarious. And I make jokes about this person not wanting to commit. And I make jokes all the time about this person talking about he the type of dude that I'm not going to commit, that you keep going. You heard my joke. It really is a joke, but then it's not really, because that's what I heard how this person does. And it's understandable that a lot of the time being in the K-pop industry that they don't want to commit to having like a real relationship because they don't know how the business is so busy, and it's really hard to have a real relationship. No, please, no. There's a lot of friends with benefits in K-pop. There is a lot of that. Yes, a lot of that. But I make jokes, y'all, and I exaggerate. But there is some truth to what I'm telling you when I do this, when I talk about this particular person. There is a truth because I know somebody that knows this person's ex, and this person's ex is a K actress. I can say that. Or I guess you want to call her the ex. I don't know. She kept going back to him thinking she was going to be the one, but the girl, you are not the one. Oh, girl, she thought she was gonna be the one, and girl, you weren't the one. It might have been that one he was rapping about. Anyway, the one may have been the one that he be writing a song that he didn't wrote about 2 songs about. I don't know. I'm a SDL my way out this conversation. Anyway, what? Oh, yeah, Lord. That's all I can say. Good evening, everybody. Good evening, Susan. Hello. Kang Se Byuk fan. Oh, my God. Hold on, girl. She said, hold on, girl. Wait a minute. Hold on. What? I'm going to see my way out that conversation because I think that one might be the one. Like, girl, he ain't writing raps about you. Girl, no, he's not, girl. Kayla said, wait a minute, I like, how many songs can you write about this person? I think there's a lot of idols on the download too. Yeah, there's only been two or three that's actually came out to be gay or bi or whatever. It doesn't track statistically speaking at all. If the bigger the group, the more the chance is going to be. If you have a group of 10 people in a group, like 10 girls or 10 guys, statistically speaking, even in South Korea, as conservative South Korea claims that they are, even in South Korea, there is a thriving LGBTQIA community. And just it doesn't hold weight statistically. If you have a group of 10 people, there's going to be a good on odds at least one of these people are going to be gay or bi. That one of them are going to be, And then a lot of times I would say about that in the groups are very protective. I can say over their gay or bi person in their group. They are very protective. And people keep their secrets. Let me tell y'all something else. There is people who are gay in groups and that their other members don't know that they're gay at all. Years. They'll be in group with person and they may tell one other person, if that. But they may not, they'll be in a group and nobody will know that they're bi or gay. And whatever they do and whoever they date is not somebody in the group. Dating, to tell y'all something, to tell y'all the truth, I'm tell you what I heard. Being gay and dating within your group is actually very rare. It's actually something that people ship about. Hi. Yes, I know Stray Kids did 2 videos about it. Your mind is going everywhere. But actually, to be honest with you, those within the group do not date. Like it doesn't happen a lot because a lot of times these members are so terrified of their secret lifestyle getting out because they don't want the group to ruin the group dynamic and they don't want group members to turn on them. So I'm telling you, especially the male groups, I can tell you now the female groups is a little bit different. There's a little bit more flexibility. But I can tell you being a gay male in a group, it's a huge secret. Like I said, they may get really close to somebody and tell that other person, but for them to date within the group, I'm telling y'all, it doesn't happen. I understand people do Tay Cook and V Men and they ship them. I promise you, a lot of the times the group members are not hooking up with each other. They are, because you don't know, especially in South Korea, being as conservative it is and kind of an anti-LGBTQ bias that there is, you don't know how the other person's going to take it. And you don't want to ruin your group, or you don't want to end up getting kicked out of the group, which, by the way, has happened. That's another little tidbit. It has happened, especially back in the day. When you're talking about second and third generation, it has happened. There have been members that have left groups because they were gay, and somebody found out, and then it messed up the group dynamic, and then all of a sudden the person either got kicked out the group, was dropped, or they left because of mental health issues, and they have let that person out of their contract. I don't know specifically who this would apply to, but that's what I heard. I've heard that there have been people who left the groups because they're gay, especially back in the day when it was less, what it was really frowned upon. So yeah, that's a thing. Yeah, that's a thing. So, I think some idols you can tell. And it's sad when I see them being asked their ideal girlfriend and yeah, and things come, yes, you can tell. Some idols, there is one member of one group that is my bias, not BTS, but he is one, and I suspect that he is gay. I suspect. I won't bring up his name, but it's kind of obvious to a lot of people. It's not a secret, but a lot of people suspect. I mean, this person, just the way he grew up, and even as a kid, like he was a theater kid, and he was into theater as a kid and into singing, and it's just his trajectory is knowing his backstory. He hung out with a lot of girls and stuff like that. How come it's easier for girl groups? Because of being girls. Yeah, Bane from Just Be, he just came out. Yeah, he came out. And he only told one other member, and then he had to sit down and tell his other members that he was coming out. And they've been very supportive. But it is easier for girls to be gay in girl groups. It's just a different dynamic with women. Women are much more like, okay, girl, whatever. As long as you keep it over there, But then, like I said, there are some male groups that there are male. It's a level of toxic masculinity everywhere. But when you're talking about like South Korea, it's fearful, and they could come out, but they're just scared. They just don't know how the other members are going to feel comfortable around them. Because with men, it's just different. Like men, I would have to do a whole video about men and masculinity and their level of homophobia, toxic homophobia, when really it's about them. It's really about men not liking other men. Like it's a whole thing. Like it's like women, we like other women, but men, I've learned that men don't like other men. Like really like that. Like I'm not talking about in a attraction sexual way, but even down to like a base level way, I find that women, we appreciate and support other women more than men do with other men. Men see other men as competition and as a threat sometimes. They can be friends with them, they can have a brotherly affection and love for them. But I think that the way men go about relationships is different than the way we do friendships and relationships. It's much more of, I found, a sisterhood thing, like psychologically, than with men. With men, it's a much more adversarial relationship sometimes, which is sad because if they would drop all that masculinity and just be themselves, then they would understand that, like, just because somebody says they're gay doesn't mean that they're going to SA you or anything like that. And I think women, we understand that. If somebody come out gay, you just like, you're not. But with men, then it's like, oh, is this person going to SA me? The fact that men think that says more about men than about gay men. The fact that men automatically assume because you're gay, you're going to somehow SA them, like it's weird. But yes, there is a difference. But yes, there are some male members that will take their homosexuality to their grave because they are afraid that they're going to lose their opportunities in the industry, and they're afraid that they're going to lose friends if they come out and say that they're gay. But at the end of the day, things have changed, and I think that people are much more welcoming, and people are just kind of like live and let. But the idea that groups are like hooking up with other group members, I tell people that's fantasy. That's fan fiction. It doesn't happen a lot. It really doesn't happen a lot. Gay guys in groups will hook up with guys outside of their groups. They will hook up with other guys in other groups, just like everybody else do. It's same thing with the girls. The girls will hook up with women outside, other actresses and stuff like that. Other girl group, other female members, they'll hook up with them. Then uh than somebody in their own group. And then it just causes things to be messy. Because if everybody understands that regardless whether you're same sex or opposite sex, that you hooking up with your coworkers is never good. They understand that. If I hook up with this guy, I'm a guy, I hook up with another guy in my group, and we break up or we have a falling out, that this is going to mess up our whole group dynamic, and it may end up turning sour to where it starts to affect our performances. It starts to affect our ability to stay on business. Same thing with women. It's same thing about working with somebody. A lot of times people don't hook up with their coworkers because they understand that, like, okay, if we split up, then it's gonna make everything weird and awkward. So that's why a lot of times they won't do it as well. Not saying that they don't find the people in their group attractive, which they do. They have. But it's just the idea that, like, we can't really go there. And there have been two gay guys in a group that didn't hook up. That they both knew they were gay, but they just stayed friends because they understand that, like, we cross that line and we not together no more, or we get mad at each other, then it's gonna blow the whole thing up. It's gonna ruin the whole group, and it's gonna ruin our money. You're like, so they don't go there. They like, well, we'll just be besties. We'll just be cool gay friends. But so yeah, that's another T point that people um don't realize, that they're really not hooking up like that in groups that people think that they are. It doesn't. I've heard that doesn't really happen. Um, let's see what else. What else the other T? Um, Like I said, the other thing I'm going to do a video about is about the solicitation in K-pop. It's something that I've talked about many, many times on a live stream when we talk about grown folk stuff. I talk a lot about solicitation in K-pop, about the fact that there's been stories that have been leaked. It's not a secret about K-pop managers acquiring ladies of the night, if you will, for K-pop singers, especially males in particular. So that would be, and I'm going to do a whole members video about this, because it is a subject that I don't know if I can talk about it on YouTube and be monetized. I don't know, they probably demonetize my video, but it is something that needs to be talked about. Like, it's something that is fascinating. Like, I've gone down the freaking rabbit hole of this, and it is very fascinating as to how this got started. It has to do with the American GIs. It has a lot that has to do. It started there, but it is a thing in K-pop. Not the submissive gin topic. No, we're not talking about that. Encante Dante said, "What? Yeah, I can see that, sure, because they have needs and they can't just go to the club. Right? They can't just go to the club and hook up. They can't. As much as they do and have, but in our digital age with social media, is becoming increasingly more difficult for them to do so. So I tell people it happens a lot. It is rampant. It is rampant. Like, it is very ingrained in K-pop. It is very much ingrained and it's been this way for a long time. For a long, long time. This goes on in every country. This goes on, especially in Asian cultures, because they spend much time, especially in Japan. Oh, Japan. Oh man, let me tell y'all, Japan. Whoo, these K-pop idols, they love to go to Japan, baby. That's another thing to say. They love to go to Japan. Oh my God. Oh my, you see a lot of K-pop idols, you be like, oh, they going on vacation in Japan. Yes, Japan is a proximity to South Korea. Their language has like the same type of, it's easier to learn for a South Korean speaker to learn Japanese. They go on tour Japan. Japan has a huge music industry. It's one of the countries that they market to besides China. China, is starting to come around to Japan, Thailand, Singapore. Oh, but honey, let me tell you, they love to go to Japan. They a lot of the idols vacation there. A lot of, especially a lot of the male ones. You always hear about the male idols going to Japan a lot, and if you notice, you don't hear a lot about the female idols going to Japan a lot. Just keep that in mind, because somebody told me, like, how many female idols are going to Japan? I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, I don't really hear them everybody going to Japan. Like, you hear some, but I said not really. They like, I was like, what? They like, girl, let me tell you. They say, why all the male idols they be going to Tokyo all the time. They be going to Japan. I said, yeah, a lot of them do. They girl. They like, girl. I'm like, they like, girl. I was like, I saw you serious. They like, girl. I'm like, and then they be talking about, wait a minute, hold on, let me, before I get off this live stream, let me spill y'all the other tea. Come closer, come closer. They be talking about why all these idols be going to Jakarta. They be going to Phuket. I said, what? They talking about, yeah. They say, y'all wonder why a lot of idols be going to Jakarta, be going to Phuket, because they go to Phuket all the time. They go to Phuket a lot. And I said, I gotta do my research. My friend told me the other day, go do your research. So tonight I'm gonna do my research on Phuket and Jakarta. They said, go look it up. I'm like, I said, okay. Cause they was like, a lot of them go there. And I'm like, yeah, I just thought like that was the place to go in South Korea. They said, go look at the industry. I said, what? I ain't know what to say. So I'm gonna have to go down that rabbit hole as well. That I didn't know that Japan and Jakarta were like the in Thailand, and I know about Thailand and Singapore about the sex tourism, but they say go look at Jakarta. That is it's there too, and I'm like, okay. So I'm gonna go down that rabbit hole too. It never dawned on me that like, oh, this is the reason why they going to Japan. They're like, I said I like Japan. Japan is cool. Tokyo is very cool. It's a place to go. A lot of people, go when they had China open, they would go to Hong Kong as well. But Japan, they like that's why a lot of the male idols go to Japan. And I said, girl, that blew my fragile mind. I said, what? A lot of lady boys. Yeah, Singapore and Thailand. I knew about Singapore and Thailand, but a lot of the male idols they go to Singapore, they go to Thailand, and they go to Jakarta. And I said, you hear about idols going to Phuket and Jakarta, like Sugar even went to Phuket and Jakarta. Like a lot of them go there. A lot of people from South Korea, period, like go there. But you hear a lot of idols going to Japan, like all the time, like a lot. There are some groups that like besides like their tours and stuff, every time they have off, like you'll see groups of them going to Japan a lot. And it's not business related, it's just them going, just taking a break. And I was like, I understand, Japan, the close proximity and the culture and but I just didn't understand really the appeal of Tokyo because I'm like, okay, how many times did you go to Japan? Because to me, it's like once you've been to Tokyo and you've been to Japan like a few times, especially if you toured there and you've done business there. A lot of them do business in Japan. I was like, why in God's name would they keep going back to Japan all the time? Like it's like it'd be like me going to Florida every 6 months. Like eventually you're gonna be like, okay, I've seen everything, I've done everything. Why would I keep going back to Miami every 6 months? Unless I have relatives there or stuff like that. But a lot of them will go on vacation with other group members and friends, and they go to Japan and they go to Tokyo a lot. And I just didn't think of nothing other. I just thought like that was the place to be, and maybe and people are like, yeah, that too. I'm like, because Japan is not as conservative as Korea at all, and then there you can be a bit more anonymous, um, and stuff like that. And a lot of them go, like I said, they go to Thailand. Thailand is the other place. Going to Bangkok and Thailand, and another place is Jakarta. A lot of them go to Jakarta. Yeah, they cater to, yeah. It is huge. It is huge, right? Yes. Yes, Elm Moss. Huge. Huge in Japan. It is pretty. It is pretty in Jakarta. Yes. It looks like the Hawaii, the Caribbean. There's plenty of stuff to do. But I feel like with Jakarta's not that big. And once you go there like a few times, I'm like, okay, so why are we going back? Like, I understand that's a nice place, but damn, like, especially if you're a K-pop singer, you have all this money, you have all this money, all these resources, you can go anywhere you want to in the world, really. I mean, you don't have to stay like, and then there's some places in Asia that I'm like, well, why, I'm like, well, why don't they go there? Why don't they do that? Vietnam, Saigon is beautiful. I don't really see them going to Vietnam. Saigon is beautiful. Cambodia is nice. Cambodia is real nice. Malaysia is nice. Malaysia is real nice. Malaysia is real nice. Malaysia is like you want to live in Malaysia. But I'm like, well, why would they not go there? Because they can go anywhere they want to. They can come to America. I mean, even though it's a longer trip, it's a shorter trip, but they can go. There's other places that they can go to have, short flights and if they want to get outside of Seoul. But I was like, Japan. Well, how many times do you go to Japan? Like, and then Japan is an odd choice. I always thought Japan was the odd choice for a Korean anyway, just because the history. So I always thought that was like an odd choice. I'm just like, okay, that's an interesting choice. And I like I said, and I know that Tokyo and has a lot of. I understand Japan as a country is beautiful and has a lot of things for you, different cities besides Tokyo and things for you to do. But at the end of the day, how many times can you go there? Like, And like, what are you doing there? Because Tokyo got a really thriving like nightlife and club scene there that a lot of them do go to. What if they wear my mask? They probably don't, girl. They probably be like, just like that one dude got in trouble. What's that one singer that was in that group? That K-pop group that just debuted that was on the Survivor show. And they talking about he was up there with an AV model in Japan. I forgot his name, but I talked about it on a live stream that he was with an AV model in Japan, a Japanese AV model in Japan, that they were on a quote unquote a date, that they were just quote unquote friends, but apparently they said that she was soliciting because it's illegal in Korea. So yeah, I plan to do a whole video about that because it's illegal in Korea, but not in Japan. Japan is not illegal. So that he got tossed out the group because he was allegedly with this AV model. So, and then they try to call her like, adult film star and all this stuff. Well, she's an AV model. She's not an adult film star. It's different. But yeah, and then he got kicked out the group because of it, because people accused him of soliciting. And I just laughed and I did a live stream about it where I mentioned it because I'm like, he's not the only one, y'all. The managers are acquiring them people to go party. Like they on tour, they're on rehearsals, they're busy. Like, when do they have time to really meet somebody and like that? They don't have time. So yeah, the K-pop managers are like, you're staying at this hotel at this day, we'll find you some people. We'll get some girls to come party, come hang out. It's just it happens a lot in the industry, and people have detailed this. Like, it's not a secret, but just that people don't want to talk about it. Like, it's just something that's not talked, and it's not anything shameful or bad. I wouldn't be out here trying to out people. I don't consider it shameful or bad. I just think this is what grown people do. But it's where it becomes problematic in the industry is when the idols themselves and small groups are pressured to do it themselves. That's the problem that I have, is that the idols, there have been instances and stories that are not secret of trainees and idols, female idols in small groups and even male ones, that have been pressured to meet with investors, to meet with advisors, to meet with people, to meet with business people, to host them and serve them and stuff like that. And it's just been some real skivvy, like real gross stuff that's not on the up and up. That the idols that have been pressured, or trainees have been pressured to hang out with these businessmen while they up here rubbing your leg, and they old enough to be your granddaddy. Like, that 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 happens, and that's the flip side of it. That's the real like, okay, yeah, that's weird. Like, and then they don't want to do it, and they're kind of obligated and forced to, and sometimes it's like in their contract, and they're contractually obligated to go to what they call investor events and stuff like that. That's another thing I didn't know about either, that sometimes they're contractually obligated to go to it, to meet and greets with investors, what they call private meet and greets, and a private fan. Do y'all know that they wait a minute, hold on, y'all. Wait a minute, hold on. I believe y'all will want everything. Do y'all know that they have private fan meets? I didn't know that either. Do y'all know that? Somebody told me that too. They was like, like, and I mean for up and coming groups, not for like BTS level or Blackpink. I'm talking about like up and coming groups for smaller agencies, or just up and coming groups, period. That they have private fan meets for like investors, or investors' children, or for people who are interested in the group, and they're having like quote unquote like promotions for like rich people. That girl, oh, that's who you talking about. Yeah, Jew Hankion from the boys. Yeah, that's the guy that they kicked out. Many of the idol men love Japanese women, and they talk about it. Yeah, no, I'm gonna let them do. Yeah, but yeah, I tell y'all that they have, like, when the groups are starting out, they have private meet and greets for rich people, like, to meet this group, and they have like private parties and private events for these people to like hobnob with these rich people or investors and businessmen. Yeah, they do it. The company pays money. Yeah, yeah, the company pays the money. Yeah, yeah. They were like, oh, we're gonna have this private banquet or this business event, and then they'll have a bunch of investors there, and then we'll have these groups go there to perform, and then after they perform, they kind of have like a meet, like a fan meet, and then the business people can bring their kids, and they can, or their niece and nephews, or themselves, or whatever, and then they can get autographs, and they can meet the group, and then talk to them and stuff like that. It's kind of like what's known in the industry. It's kind of like paying your, quote unquote, paying your dues in the industry. Um, for a lot of, especially these small agencies. Now, the bigger agencies, they don't have to do stuff like this, but the smaller agencies, in order for them to make money, in order to get people invested, and then they have private parties. I've talked about this before, about idols having private parties, or performing, singing, or performing, or showing up at clubs and doing events for VIP sections, getting paid. They're getting paid to show up at VIP sections. This is a lucrative business, especially for idols who are not in the business anymore. For those who are not active idols, so there are a lot of idols out there that aren't actively in a group. The group been disbanded, or whatever reason, but they still have to make money. So they will get invited to do, you know, publicity events. So they will get invited to these events. They'll sit in VIP sections in clubs. They will pop bottles and champagne. They will get invited to birthday parties where they'll sing, or just sometimes they just gotta show up and host a party or something like that. Why does this sound weird though? Why does it sound weird? Because I mean, it is weird, but this is what these former idols have to do to make money, though. That's the former idols. This is what they do to supplement their income, to make money, because they have still a relative amount of famousness. Um, oh, see, okay, they said P1 Harmony were performing at movie theaters for rich people. There you go. Yeah, that happens a lot. That happens a lot. And then sometimes the stuff don't be on the up and up, y'all. Sometimes it don't be for the male idols or the female ones. Sometimes it don't be on the up and up. It just don't. Sometimes it get a little weird. Sometimes we get into Epstein territory. I'm just gonna be honest with y'all. Sometimes you get into weird, some strange one piece. You get into weird territories. Like, yeah, it gets weird. It's like, okay, yeah, it is. This is what happens behind closed doors. And like I said, I want to do a whole video about this, because it will be a long video, because this has been going on in the industry for a very, very, very long time. And it's something that a lot of people, and it's just normalized. It's very normalized that this is what you have to do. And I'm just like, which people can be a little weird. That's true. And it's just, especially, I would say, it is kind of increased after BTS became popular. So around 2020, with the pandemic and everything like that, kind of stifled everybody, meeting in person. But then once the pandemic was over and people really started to be out, and there started to be a more of a push to more, there's so many K-pop groups, y'all. If you do not know how many K-pop groups are debuting, for the love of God, go to Kville on YouTube and look, and they have like a whole video where they have new songs, and you will see these new songs, and some of these new songs about groups, but a lot of these new songs are released are by groups you've never heard of or just debuted. There are so many groups debuting every week, every other week, that I cannot even keep up anymore. It's crazy. You have so many different companies out there that I can't even keep up. It seems like they just spring up every year. There's like at least 5 or 6 new companies, new agencies every year. And so these agencies need money. Like, they need money. And some of these they look at the idols as a get rich quick scheme. They take these people, they sign them to this contract, and then they farm them out to different places to make money. So they're like, okay, you three are gonna go on a meet and greet Japan. You three are gonna go to Seoul, Korea and sign autographs. You people are gonna go to this exclusive event. So they form these idol groups, but really it's a way for them to get rich. If you can have a group, like I said, of 8 or 9 men or women, and then send 3 here, 3 here, 3 here. And then every event that they're doing, they're getting paid to be at that event. And then they're bringing the money back and you're paying them just the base minimum because they don't, starting out, they really don't make no money, y'all. We all know that by now. When the idols start out, they don't make no money until they've been in the industry probably about 3 years that they actually start making money. I swear to God, like the things I looked at BTS, I promise you BTS didn't start making no money until 2017. I promise you. Like I went back and looked. I promise you BTS did not start making money until 2017. I mean real money. Real money to the point where you can like take care of your parents and buy property. Because I went and looked at their history and their trajectory and I was like, BTS probably didn't start making no real money. Maybe 2018. Maybe. But I promise you, they were not making no money for years. Being in a small agency and the amount of debts that were incurred by Big Hit and Bang Shook, there was a lot of debts that BTS, I looked into all this, there's a lot of debts that they had. And I promise you, BTS weren't making any real money probably for about 4 years. So, um, a lot of the K-pop salaries, I mean, you would die, you would gag over that these idols are like literally, even in the big agencies, like they would be making like $500 a month, which is nothing, or $500 every 2 weeks USD. That's nothing. You can that's like minimum wage. Like they are literally making. Some groups are making five, six, $700 a week. Again, USD. That's nothing. That's nothing. And that's after they take at their expensive they take home is like $600 a week. And a lot of people are like they have other expenses that they have to pay for. They have other bills that they have to pay for, and so making $400-500 a week is barely enough for people to even like to try to survive on. Even though the agency are paying for the dorm, but then they really not paying for their dorm. Like I tell people, I said the agency's like, oh, but we're paying for the dorm, we're paying for their food, we're paying for their vocal lessons, but really they have it in their contracts where the singer has to pay a portion of it or all of it back. So they really are paying. They really is taking money out for rent, and when they live in these homes or these condos, they really is taking money out of they earnings for their food, for their incinerators, and all this other stuff. So the agency is trying to claim that they paying for all this when they have it in their contracts that they have to pay it back. That they take a percentage out to pay for their living and their food and their rehearsals and then like they nickel and dime these singers to the point where when they are making money, they're really not making a lot of money in the beginning. So there are idols out there that have talked about this before that I mean I forgot what idol was a female in a group. She was talking about that she was making like I think she was saying she was making like $100 a month. And I forgot what group it was. People were in shock that she was in the same group for 6 or 7. It was a pretty well-known group. And she was saying she was making $100 a month. That's all she was making. And she was in this group for years. I think Amber of FX, I love FX Mike. I think Amber FX have talked about it too, that she wasn't making no money. That she was in FX and she was saying that she was barely surviving. They were in FX, and FX at the time in the second generation was one of the biggest female groups. 21 and FX were the biggest female groups at the time. Two of the five, the top five biggest groups. And Amber from FX saying they barely made any money at the years that they spent in the industry. I think their group was around for about 5 years. She was saying she was saying they left her in broke and in debt. That they were not making any money. And I was like, damn, like, and so, yeah, like Moonlight said, they had to pay their expenses back. So that's why they do these extra private events with these rich people and they go on like these Epstein Islands and stuff like that. And then when you get there, these business people, these rich people, they weird, y'all. And they don't respect these young people. They don't respect them. They're looking at these 17, 18, 19-year-old boys and girls while they're on stage and they dancing on stage, or they're all cutesy and they got a smile, and the agency's like, look, you better get out there and smile and dance and smile and dance and hobnob with these people and mix and mingle with these gentlemen and these women. And these rich people, they don't respect these idols. They don't respect them. They just think of them like they dolls, like they just playthings. Like, oh well, you need our money, like you need us, we don't need you. So they may say things to them that's rude. They may do things that push the line. They may do things that are very disrespectful to them. Um, it happens. Like it's things that the idols feel uncomfortable with, that the agency pushes them to do because they need the investors' money, and and so they got to just tolerate and put up with it. And it's not just one time. Sometimes they have to attend these events over and over and over again. And so over and over and over again, you're basically being dehumanized over and over and over again. Like you have to sit up there and smile while some old man put his hand on your leg and rub your leg, talking about, "Ooh, you pretty," and or some old man rub your hand on your leg, talking about, "Ooh, you handsome," and you just sitting there like, "Yeah, thanks." While you sit up there, and then the agency is like, "Okay, be polite, just take it," and then you're like, "Well, I don't feel comfortable. Like I don't even." It's just like tell people this is the price of being famous. This is what you got to do. Smile. And so that is something that, like I said, that goes on, and all of it goes hand in hand with the solicitation, with with the adult industry is tied to the K-pop industry. Again, it's about the dollar signs. They like their car to car show. Do this or don't eat. Right? They do. They treat them like they cars. Like they looking at them like they're objects. Like, okay, I'm trying to invest, like they're buying a car. Well, let me look at this girl. Let me see, she cute. And then they sitting there like, okay, look pretty, smile. We're gonna have to do this next weekend, and you're like, oh man. So the things that people do to be famous is just wild to me. Like I wouldn't, like I told people before when I did my video about under 15, I told people before I would never want my kids to be in the entertainment industry. I don't think kids should be in the K-pop industry. I don't think anyone under the age of 18 should be in the K-pop industry. Point blank and simple. I would never trust these managers, these agencies, these people with my child. I don't know how in the world, how, and God knows, God, I've said it before. I don't know what the things these young people have seen and experienced, especially people coming from small agencies. And the fact that your parents I have a 15-year-old son. There's no way in hell I would let my 15-year-old be sent to another city far away from me and then trust these people to take care of my child. And that my child is not going to see things and experience things and know things, and they're with these older men and the older women. Yeah, the people don't talk about, but you hear a lot about. Yeah. And then like it makes me wonder about ATEEZ because their company was famous. Yeah, their company's famously very, very broke. Like without ATEEZ, KQ would be nothing without them. They're kind of like another BTS story. Um, and for me, I just see a lot of groups that when they debuted and start out, and you see the way they look, and then you see them later, and you kind of see like a jadedness to the way it's a hardness now to the way they look because the industry will harden you. And I tell people that when I ask people like these are the things that people don't want to talk about, and it happens in America too. It's not just South Korea, but South Korea, is different in America because you're much more of an independent spirit, and you don't have the agency system in America anymore like they used to back in the day. They used to have it like this, but now in America you're an independent agent. You do whatever you want, but it still exists. Don't get me wrong. We all know with Diddy and everything, it still exists, but it's more of a recreational thing in America. In South Korea, it's embedded in the industry. It's kind of like this is kind of normalized. Like, well, this is what you have to do if you're in a small agency, even if you're a large agency. Like, even I've heard that people, even in large agencies, that for promotions and getting stuff out there, that you have to be around in certain circles, and I'm just like, Justin Bieber looked dead behind a baby. If anybody looked dead behind, I ain't nothing there. I don't know what he's on or not on. I don't know. But it's definitely dead eyes. and you will see them starting out and they'll be so fresh faced, and then after being in the industry for so long, it's just like you could see them harden. Like you could just see like the look of like that they didn't say in some things. Because again, I would never send my child out away from me to entrust people to basically raise my child, and that they're gonna have the best interest for my child. Why? And then, and then I'm gonna tell my kid just going out there, just they're uncomfortable with things, and I'm just like, oh, it's fine. Honey, just keep enduring it. Like I would be in my feelings all the time. I'd be ready to fight, swing on somebody. If somebody like hearing Tay will be throwing out the first ball of the Dodgers. Oh, game on the 25th. Oh, really? I heard about that too. I can't wait for Tay to throw out the first ball. He was giving them drugs and alcohol. People say it don't happen. Yeah, I just child like it's just it's the weird underbelliness of like every entertainment industry. And like I said, there's a lot of things that I hear that I'm just like, what? Like that's just bizarre, and or some things are just small, like anecdotal, that it doesn't really mean anything. But then some things I hear are really really weird. Um, but that'd be a story for another day. Because some things I've heard, I'm just like, even I don't believe some of the other stuff that I've heard. That is so far fetched and so bizarre that I'm just like, wait, what? I can't tell you one thing that I've heard besides the shamanism, which I tell people, shamanism is a lot. Like shamanism is a lot in the industry. Like there's a lot of, and that's not too weird. I thought it was weird at first, but then once I get to know more, when I did my video about talking about shamanism, I realized it's not that weird. But for me, when hearing about it, I thought it was strange. But now I just realized that it's just a cultural belief system. Just like there's a lot of people who believe in tarot cards and stuff in Hollywood. There's a lot of people that believe in witchcraft and tarot. It's a lot of um there's a lot of there's a whole business for psychics in America. Like if y'all didn't know, famous people use psychics and tarot card readers a lot. Not saying there's anything wrong with that, but I'm just saying that goes on in the music industry in the a lot. I know about the music industry a lot. Like there is a lot of people who really believe in tarot, and witchcraft and all kinds of stuff in the American industry. But it like the same thing I realize is parallels in Korea. But some of the things I've heard about in Korea is very strange. So one thing, um, because we know that trainees are getting younger and younger, and things like that. I can say that like there has been like another thing that I didn't really believe. There's people like I've been told that there have been K idols that have gotten abortions. Like I've heard that. I thought that was odd, and I was like, I don't know if I believe that, but I've heard a lot of them have, and I was like, girl, you need to stop. But I heard she be like, yeah, a lot of them then had abortions. I said, what? I heard that, but again, I find that a little far fetched, but some people don't. Some people don't find it far fetched at all. That there are a lot of females that have had I've heard that there are a lot of male idols that have paid for women to end their pregnancy. I've heard that too. I've heard that. Now that I find a little bit more believable than female idols being I've heard about girl idols being pregnant and not knowing they're being pregnant on stage. Like I've heard some wild girl. The K-pop idol pregnancy thing. That's a whole rabbit hole within itself. Cause I didn't heard some wild stories about females being on stage being pregnant. I've heard a lot of things. I heard a lot of things that kind of made me like went back and looked at videos and being like, I mean, well, let me look. I'm looking high, I'm looking low. Like I done heard some things about the pregnancy thing. Like I think that's one of the strangest things that I've heard, and not strange because it's not plausible, but just strange because it's something I have never thought about. It has, I'm telling you, once you start talking to people, you like it blew my mind. It was inconceivable because somebody told me a story about a particular K-pop singer. They not along anymore, and they was like, "Girl," and that, she was up there, she's pregnant. I said, "Bitch, what? Girl, go sit down." I said, no. They were like, yeah. I was like, girl, I watched that video over and over again. I won't say who it was, but I was sitting there going, I was confused. I was like, I don't know what I'm looking at. And then I'm like, okay, I'm seeing things. I'm like, I need to go to bed. I was convinced I was like, girl, she was like, girl, that's what they say. I said, So that's another thing. I can say one of the weirdest things, and I'm like, I don't know how I feel about that because it's plausible. It's plausible because I'm like, okay, we got so many female groups. It's plausible. Like I'm just like going, like she's like, but it's. I was sitting there going, but just what? And she was like, girl. I was like, I'm like, what? She's like, girl. I'm like, like it didn't hit me like it hit me hard. Like I had to sit here and be like, you know, just kind of, what, wait, like it's something I have never thought of. Like it never hit me. And yeah, it's not something. It's not a huge rate, but it's something that I did. It never like I didn't put two and two together. Like I would never think that that was a thing. And they were like, girl, it's a thing. And I was like, she's like, I was like, girl. I said, but she's like, well, why did you never thought about that? I said, I don't know why I never thought about it. But then now I can't unthink about it. Because they were like, girl, do you really think they passing out on stage because they tired and they hungry? I was like, I said, bitch, what? She like, I'm like, once again, I'll be clutching the pearls all the time. I'll be like, okay, so what? She like, girl, do you think they all be passing out because they hungry? I said, yeah, I thought they hungry. She like, well, every once in a while, it may be beyond hunger. I'm like, oh, I said, but that makes sense. Like it just there's so many girl groups from the first generation all the way to now that it would be plausible that yes, that somebody didn't pass out on stage and like they had you struggling, or somebody didn't gain some weight, and then you thinking, oh man, they just eating a lot, and then really they be like, no, they gained a whole bunch of weight real quickly because they was with a kid. I'm like, what? I'm like, girl, I said that child. I said, once you, now I can't unsee it. Now I'm just looking, and then like she was saying that yeah, it doesn't happen a lot, but there has been rumors that like that is a thing that they would go and get rid of the baby. And I was like, okay, that makes sense because the sheer volume. Hello, Mama T. And the sheer volume, of yeah, look how little they are. And so that really makes me think about people who gain weight real quickly. And I'm thinking like, well, dang, she really didn't bloat it up a lot. They was like, girl, I'm like, she's like, you know how it works. I got two kids. I know how it works. And when you become pregnant, you bloat. You bloat a lot. Your ankles swell, your legs swell, you swell, you retain a lot of water. And so it never thought that it was some I have seen some K-pop stars where they've gained weight very quickly. Like within 3, 4 weeks, I'm like, how she gained? I'm like, dang, she on that. I'm like, I understand people, had their periods and stuff like that, but I didn't see some K-pop stars gain weight really, 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 really quickly. And then that kind of makes me think that, like, yes, I've I have two kids. I understand I was pregnant that I gained weight. Like you're not gaining weight. You retained a lot of water, and it's hard for you to burn the water. Hard for you to get that off. You got to drink a lot of water, and and then it's hard. And then sometimes people don't really know what is going on with their body. Like they don't really know. And people said it's not just K-pop industry that it happens in the for the actresses as well. That you will see them and then you be like, dang, or you'll see them and then they gain weight and all of a sudden they dropped a whole bunch of weight and you're like, dang, she must be really starving and stuff. They're like, nah, she wasn't really starving. She was just pregnant. She got rid of it. And I'm like, girl. So now like it never really dawned on me. I didn't never put two and two together until now. So now y'all understand where I be looking at K-pop with a side eye. Like y'all, because I never put, and again, somebody who's been pregnant and had children, it never once dawned on me that like, oh, so that's why. Oh, I was like, oh, yeah. And then they were saying that it never gets out. Like it is something that is very sensitive that like hardly ever gets out. But then people just kind of roll with it, like, oh, they took a crash diet and they exercised a lot and they drank lots of water. And she like, really? I said, girl, well, yeah, people be drinking lots of water. They're like, girl. I'm like, well, you the girl. I'm like, so they didn't drink a lot of water. They're like, girl, no. She got rid of the child and went and deflated and burned off all that water weight. I was like, damn. I'm like, all right. like now it makes a little bit more, it makes a little bit more sense. As somebody who's had a child, lost a child, and had kids, I miscarried, and I understand. So I said, for me, I'm like, okay, that makes a little bit more sense. Like I could see that because it's just the sheer volume of female groups out there that it's plausible that yes, that some of the stuff that you've seen is not just dieting and exercising and they just gained a whole bunch of weight or lost a whole bunch of weight really quickly. They had a boyfriend or went out and had a fun and they weren't protected and it just happened. And sometimes they don't even know what's going on with their body until they realize, oh dang, like that's why I'm not losing weight. That it's not I'm just eating too much or it's just my period. And I said, well, that makes sense because pregnancy you will bloat up pretty quickly. I mean, it'd be real quick for some women. Every woman is different. Some women is more gradual. Some women is literally like when I was first pregnant, I gained weight so quickly I could sneeze and then like and it just depends on your system. I harbor a lot of weight gain, and then and then when you really are tiny and you are puffing up like that, you can see it in your face real fast. And when you're real tiny and then you get pregnant and then your body just starts to retain every little bit of water. And then if you have a healthy eating lifestyle anyway, your body really flips out. I mean, if you are barely eating and exercising and barely eating and you're eating one meal a day and it's a piece of chicken and an apple and then all of a sudden you get pregnant and all of a sudden your body is flipping out going, okay, I need nutrients, I need to retain water. It's just a reaction your body trying to protect the unborn child because you're not getting enough nutrients, you're not getting enough sleep, you're not getting enough water, and so your body starts to bloat. And I said, yeah, it's a natural reaction just to starvation. Your body's like, I'm trying to protect this child and you ain't eating enough. And then they may not even know what's going on. So that's one thing I thought was one of the strangest, weirdest things that I have never once thought about. I was like, I swear to God, it went over my head that it blew my mind that why I never thought about that. And I'm like, of course, they're women. Like, what? Because it happens. It happens in real life. I'm like, so the odds that this doesn't ever happen in K-pop, I'm like, yeah, there's just too many groups. There's just too many groups. And of course it happens. Because people have oopsie, I went out and with my boyfriend, oh dang. It happens. So that's just something else for y'all to chew on and think like, wait. Because again, as a woman, you would think that this would be something that would be in my mind. But that's how K-pop like messes with your head. Like you be like, oh, I never thought about that. Oh, I never thought about. Look, why did I ever think about that? They be like, shit, because K-pop be effing with your mind. I'm like, yeah, it do because these are fertile women. These are young, fertile women. Like these are not like older women who are they in their prime. I'm like, yeah, okay, yeah. Because K-pop wants you to believe that these people are asexual, autonomous robots, life-size dolls and mannequins, when really it's not the truth. That things happen, and it doesn't happen a lot, but it happens. People are like, yeah, it happens, and then it's a panic, and then they have to do something about it, and you know, it happens. And I was like, you know what? I said, child. So that's my tea for today. I'll spilled enough tea for today, and I'm fixing to go to bed. So I'll take everybody. It does sound crazy and sad at the time. Yeah, and the nasty old man too. That is just ugh. And so she said that Jelly Roll. Jelly Roll has had a trainer says it's from drinking it all the way. Yeah, they talk about oh, well, they didn't drink too much alcohol. I'm like, all right. But I thank everybody from being here. Marie, Deidre, Moonlight, Susan, everybody else, Katina, everybody else has been here today. It's time for me to go to bed. I've said a lot today. I said a lot today. Yeah, it's not just the K-pop industry. It's the industry at all. Like I said, it happens with K actresses. I think more often than K-pop singers because K-pop singers are just more busy. So K actresses, I think it happens a lot. Like when they talked about Kim Saran, they talked about she has had. They were saying allegedly she had multiple abortions, multiple. That she had like two, three, four abortions, and so it because actresses don't they have lulls in their careers and highs and lows in their filming movies, and then they have a break. I think it happens a little bit more in other industries than, and then of course it happens here in America as well. I mean, we perfected the art. Do I do this daily? I do a K-pop live stream. I do this once on the weekends. I do it Saturday nights or Sunday nights. So it just depends on what time, what am I doing? But it's usually Saturday nights or Sunday nights is that I do a K-pop live stream. It's just easier for me to do a live stream because I recap of all the stuff that's been in the news for the past week, and I talk about the BTS members, what they're doing, and their updates, and whatever else we decide to talk about. But yeah, I do this once a week. But I do have videos on my channel. I have shorts. I make videos. I have a bunch of shorts coming out this week. I have an ATEEZ video coming out, a vlog about ATEEZ. And then I also have ATEEZ shorts that are coming out because I went to the concert last night. And then I also have a video about ATEEZ, just introducing ATEEZ, like who they are, who the members are, and just a cute little funny. I got it stuck in your head now. Oh, so thank you, everybody. Yes, 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 yes. Subscribe to my channel to give you an alert and tell you when I'm live. And sometimes every once in a while I'll do a live stream like during the week if I have time. It just depends and I usually talk about one subject and one subject only. Um, I do remember the non-comment guy. Oh, but anyway, y'all, I'm finna go to bed. It's late here. I hear my kids in the kitchen doing something. But anyway, y'all, I appreciate y'all. And again, I'll have more membership content. I'm always researching late at night, working on videos. Um, are you staring at the Jimmy poster, man? Don't be mad at Jimmy. Don't be mad at oh, why you staring at Jimmy, man? Why you mad? Wait a minute, hold on. Before I go, Moonlight, why you mad? Why you mad? Why are you? You know what? I did a Jimin short just for you Jimin lovers. I went. It was late at night, and I was like, I'm gonna make this Jimin short just for you Jimin lovers out there. I got a sugar one coming up just for you. Look, I'm just for y'all Jimin lovers out there, cause I know y'all be falling down the rabbit hole. So I did it just for y'all. So y'all can go look at my shorts, cause I did a Jimin one, I did a Jungkook one, and I did a Kim Tae Young one. And so, just for y'all, following y'all thirst traps. But anyway, y'all, go. Thank you for subscribing. Better be behaving right. All right, y'all. Good night. She said he better be